I died in the national destiny, war betrayed and sold out by Jotay, then torn apart by half the nations on Blue Star. After taking down 1,000 enemies, I woke up in my own body before the killing space descended. I came back armed with a gold-tier Trait Plundering System and the Eye of Insight, ready to rip the talents off every monster or evolver I kill and stack them onto myself. Frost domains, Earth escapes, insane speed, they are all mine now. The man they buried is back to take absolutely everything. Before we jump into his crazy revenge, drop a quick like and subscribe. Your support keeps this channel alive. But to understand how we got here, we have to start from the beginning. On screen, a mob of reporters surrounds a middle-aged man in a white shirt, shoving cameras and mics right in his face. Loud voices overlap, demanding to know what he makes of the mysterious countdown people have been seeing lately, and if some advanced tricolor civilization is actually behind it. Another reporter asks how his team plans to respond with only 6 hours left before that clock hits 0. The man clears his throat, giving a safe answer that the higher-ups are taking the situation very seriously and that discussions are ongoing. Until they reach a conclusion, he has no comment. I just sit on my sofa, staring blankly as the useless words wash over me. I really did travel back in time, right before the horror of the killing space descends on us. That ticking timer on the news has nothing to do with some tricolor civilization. It is the countdown to the killing space itself. Every 10 days, the system activates, dragging 100,000 fresh players straight into worlds crawling with lethal monsters. And everyone will learn that guest list by heart zombies, ghouls, Terminator T, 800s, aliens, vampires, skeleton hordes, and even Godzilla. Any of those nightmares can walk right out of that portal. And the poor souls selected have only one job: survive, and slaughter as many monsters as possible. If you make it through, you get system rewards and become a powerful evolver. Fail, and you die. In my past life, I was a complete nobody, just another face lost in the crowd. During those early rounds, the system never selected me. So I had to claw my way up, hunting down the rogue monsters that leaked into the real world. It was only during the 9th wave that my name finally got called, giving me my first real taste of explosive growth. But then, the National Destiny War broke out. A dirty traitor sold out my location, and half the nations of Blue Star hunted me down. I dragged 1,000 of them to hell with me before I finally fell. Just thinking about that bastard makes my chest tighten with pure rage. He chose to throw away his own humanity. He willingly became a traitor to his own species. But now that I have a second chance, I can settle those old debts with my own 2 hands. Jotay, you miserable rat, just you wait. Suddenly, a familiar ringtone cuts through my thoughts and stops me dead. It is a silly little jingle about a grandson calling his grandpa. Man, how many years has it been since I last heard this? I look down at the phone buzzing on the table. Sure enough, the caller ID grandson lights up the screen, clear as day. It takes me a second to remember, but this is my annoying corporate boss in this timeline. The guy who forced me to save his contact info like that because he thinks he is hilarious. And of course, he is calling to make me work all night on some stupid report. Old corporate memories flash in my mind. I pick up, immediately hang up on him, and instantly throw his number onto my blacklist. The actual apocalypse is literally hours away. Who in their right mind is going to write a summary report now? I look down at my wrist, where a strange brand is glowing under my skin. That is the space mark, the key to entering the killing space. Once the countdown hits 0, everyone who survived will find this exact same mark burning into their flesh. And with it, they can step straight into the system the moment it opens. But by all accounts, I should not have this yet. At least, not according to my past life at this point in time. But since the mark traveled back with me, I can enter the very first wave instead of waiting around for the 9th. Since I lived it once, I know exactly which monsters will show up before the big war starts. And I know the secret strategies that can break this game wide open. As long as I keep a cool head and play my cards right, I will leave every other survivor eating my dust. Calming my racing heart, I focus on the glowing mark. Instantly, a character status screen pops up in my mind, invisible to everyone else. My name reads as Yuan. My strength stat is at 10, which controls my stamina and raw physical damage. My constitution is 8, dictating my endurance and defense, while my speed is 9 for raw quickness and reflexes. My spirit is a shocking 20, controlling willpower. For comparison, the average stats for a healthy adult sit at a flat 10. No talents yet. 0 skills. My kill value is 0, but the system notes that slaying monsters earns kill points to buy raw power. My combat rating is blank. I stare down at the cold takeout left over on my table and let out a quiet sigh. In a world this obsessed with technology, most people are pretty fragile. Honestly, An 8 in constitution is already way better than average. At least that 20 in spirit gives me a reason to smile. Then a new notification chimes in as the God tier trait system goes online telling me that killing special monsters lets me steal their traits. Traits range from basic white all the way up to legendary gold. And my awakened talent? It is the Eye of Insight, rated gold. An active power that lets me read the stats of any living thing, the ultimate golden cheat. As a seasoned web novel nerd, how could I not know a cheat system when one lands right in my lap? Stealing traits from everything I slay, I am about to get filthy rich. Future knowledge plus a broken system? Talk about pulling a royal flush on the very first hand. This time, I am climbing straight to the top. I slap my own cheeks to stop my grin from shaking and force my racing heart to calm down. Keep it together. This is nothing. Just stay calm. According to the news, we have less than 6 hours before the rift opens, plenty of time to grab that treasure. My eyes gleam. Once the dimensional rift descends, everyday items transform into legendary treasures, and energy pearls are the absolute best of them. Who wants to waste years grinding monsters for tiny stat boosts when these pearls let you skip the line entirely? They are packed with raw power that you can absorb straight into your attributes. Later, survivors called them wild free stat points. They are unbelievably rare, and barely any ever appeared in my past life. Nobody knows where they come from. In my home of Hong City, I only knew of 2. One is currently hidden inside a stone holding up an antique stall, serving as a makeshift table leg. I can easily walk over and snatch it once the market packs up for the night. The other is stashed inside a private room at the Pung Chong massage parlor, tucked neatly inside the mouth of a twin dragon ornament. Neither of them is hard to reach. I stand up and head out. Night has just fallen, so I still have a couple of hours before the antique market closes up. So, I will head to Pung Chong Street first, to look for some fresh to find that energy pearl. Pung Chong Street is easily the most popular spot in Hong City for a specific crowd of men. Once the sun goes down, it becomes a literal neon paradise and a massive money pit. And the Pung Chong massage parlor is easily the biggest venue on the block. In the lobby, a clerk greets me and asks how many are in my group. Keeping my voice low behind my mask, I tell her just one. Room 688. She does not even blink. Plenty of guys show up masked here, some wrapped up like they are trying to survive a desert sandstorm. She smiles, calling me a regular, and tells me we are in luck. Both rooms 688 and 888 are open, waving me toward my target. In my past life, that exact room held the pearl. A cleaning lady originally found it, bragged online, and went viral for weeks. This time, however, it is all mine. While the nightlife on Pung Chong Street is just heating up, officers at the nearby station are already gearing up for action. Their captain tells them to cut the chatter. He warns them that our city's reputation rides entirely on tonight's raid, and their prime target is Pung Chong Street. At his command, the entire unit moves out, police cruisers tearing down the road with their sirens aimed right for Pung Chong Street. Once inside the private room, I immediately spot the twin dragon ornament sitting right there on the table. At a glance, it looks totally worthless, and looking closer confirms it. Just a cheap, plastic trinket that cost a couple of bucks. Can you believe a cheap piece of plastic is about to trigger a literal war? Millions will literally kill each other for this. The receptionist slides over a tablet, asking if I have a preferred worker in mind. The screen shows a lineup of girls in matching outfits, heavily made up and, frankly, displayed like sports cars at a luxury dealership. Some with massive headlights, others built with aerodynamic curves, and some with serious trunk space. I tap a decent-looking profile and point her. She asks which service I want, pitching their VIP package that normally costs $1,688, but tonight, it is only $9.99. I nod, and 3 minutes later, a gorgeous woman walks in, introducing herself as number 38. Ting ting, at your service. I look her over, nod, and tell her to head into the shower first. She pouts, complaining she literally just washed up an hour ago, but I firmly tell her to go do it again. She sighs, drops her kit, and walks into the bathroom. After all, the customer is king, no matter how weird the request. The moment that door shuts, I jump up, grab the twin dragon ornament, and twist the plastic pearl. With one quick snap, it pops right into my hand. Since the dimensional rift hasn't arrived yet, it is still just a worthless piece of plastic, not the powerful stat pearl it will be in a few hours. This was too easy, almost embarrassingly easy. Just thinking about how many people will eventually fight tooth and nail over this exact thing, while it basically just fell right into my hands tonight, I cannot help but crack a smile. I slip the pearl into my pocket, collapse onto the sofa, and turn on the television. Since it is still pretty early and leaving now would still cost me, I might as well sit back and enjoy myself. 5 minutes later, Tinking walks out wrapped in a towel, casually announcing she is all done. I get up, lie face down on the massage bed, and tell her to get dressed and come over here. She stares at me completely baffled, but probably assumes some clients just prefer a uniform. Saying nothing, she throws her clothes on right then and there, walking over with a look of pure resentment on her face, just kneading my shoulders. Desperately. I can practically hear her internal screaming, who on earth comes to a place like this for an actual, literal massage? It is definitely not her usual line of work. This requires some serious arm strength, while she usually gets by using her legs, her waist, or maybe just a finger. Now I am totally wearing her out right after she got her nails done yesterday, so she hopefully asks me one more time if I would prefer some other service. Keeping my eyes tightly closed, I think about it for a second and tell her my neck feels fine now, so she should just massage my head instead. Her eyes light up. She reaches for my lap, but I snatch her wrist first. She looks down at her arm, then back at me, thoroughly confused, reminding me that I literally just asked for a head massage. I tell her I meant the head up top, not the one down below, asking her if she is supposed to be a professional or what. Her entire face freezes, one eye twitches. Her pure annoyance hits an absolute peak. Honestly, you can't blame her who actually goes to a sketchy massage parlor for a legitimate back rub. Outside the building, police tape is already sealing off the pun massage parlor, and all the reception staff in the lobby have been secured. Shocked screams echo out from the private rooms as police officers swarm the hallways, marching naked men and women out into the open corridor, where a growing line of people crouches flat against the wall. Right outside room 688, a middle-aged team leader presses his ear against the door. He can barely hear a hushed conversation inside, with a woman asking if her technique feels all right. Then a man's voice answers that she should just keep that exact posture and keep going. The woman asks about the speed, and the man tells her to go a bit deeper on one specific spot, which she agrees to do. Team leader M, a guy with plenty of raid experience under his belt, imagines the entire scandalous scene in his head, taking a slow breath before signaling his officers. He kicks the door wide open and bursts in first, screaming at everyone inside to freeze. "Get down, hands up." But then, the words die right in his throat. A guy wearing only a simple massage robe is lying peacefully on the bed, while a fully dressed technician kneads his shoulders. And there we have it, a perfectly clean, boring back rub, completely destroying the crazy scenario the chief had pictured. The only slightly weird thing is the pure, murderous anger written all over the technician's face. An hour later, I am fully dressed and grabbing my ID at the entrance. The officer pats my shoulder with a highly complicated look, suggesting that next time I should try the blind massage parlor one block over, since they apparently do some really great work. I nod solemnly, agreeing that I was just giving this establishment a quick test run and that they are indeed pretty unprofessional. Completely ignoring Tinking's murderous glare from a few feet away, he tells me there is a major police operation today and I am free to go. I tell him that I understand, wishing Officer M good luck with the job, before turning to walk away, quietly, absolutely thrilled. Never did I expect to walk away with a free massage thanks to a sudden police raid. An hour later, I am back home, placing 2 items onto my table, a stone and a dragon pearl. I swiped that rock from the antique street with another pearl inside. Everything went incredibly smooth from start to finish. The rock had actually been used as some random footrest for who knows how long. I mean, who is going to miss a plain old rock? Now, it all belongs to me, with just over an hour left before the killing space descends. There is no real point in preparing gear since nothing from the outside world can be brought in, except the clothes right on my back. It is much better to save my energy and mentally prepare for the brutal slaughter ahead. As the minutes slowly bleed away, midnight finally strikes, and everyone tracking the countdown sees a strange space imprint burn onto their wrist. In that exact moment, a glowing projection shoots up into the air, declaring that the killing space has officially opened. Every person holding an imprint will be teleported inside in 3 minutes, with the clock immediately ticking down from 2 minutes and 59 seconds. I completely ignore the warning, staring instead at the table where the stone and dragon pearl are undergoing a wild mutation. The previously clear pearl has turned pure, solid gold. A dazzling, brilliant light coils inside it, making it look incredibly bizarre. Meanwhile, the ordinary stone has split right open, revealing an identical golden pearl glowing deeply in its heart. 2 energy pearls, rare treasures destined to be worth millions, lie right before my eyes. Instantly, I trigger my eye of insight to read their specs. They are basic energy pearls containing unique power. Absorbing just 1 strengthens the physical body and boosts personal attributes by 5 full points. I almost laugh. Stats are great, but 5 points per pearl is ridiculous. A pair of these makes 10. Grab a few more, and I can easily stroll straight into becoming a formal evolver. But get this, in this brutal world, finding even one is purely down to raw luck. With the countdown ticking down, I stop overthinking. I snatch up both pearls and press them to my space imprint. A system notification confirms the massive power surge and asks where to direct the reinforcement. I split the boost, adding 7 to constitution and 3 to speed. In the next breath, raw power erupts from the pearls and floods through me. These early killing zones are simple endurance tests. Survival is king because lasting longer means more kills, while gasping for air after only 2 fights gets you killed. Speed matters just as much, because running faster means staying alive. The hot surge vanishes in a blink, but the physical upgrade is instantly clear. Excess fat dissolves, and my nagging back pain is completely gone. My aching legs stop throbbing. Suddenly, there is real, raw power in my stride. That is the incredible gift of my boosted constitution. My stats blink. Strength is 10, constitution hits 15, speed 12, and spirit 20. That gold tier Eye of Insight remains my only talent. No skills, 0 killing value, and no rating. But finally, I am not some fragile victim. The thought barely registers before my vision smears violently to the side. When it clears, the familiar room is gone. Everything has changed. A glowing screen of floating text hovers in the air, welcoming me to the killing zone and listing the rules. The ultimate law is simple survival. Slaying beasts can drop rare material cards, but they cannot be brought outside of this zone. Every kill boosts your power and final score. Just remember, bringing outside gear into this place is strictly forbidden. The prompt notes the zone remains open for 1 day. Monsters will spawn in 10 minutes. The countdown clock reads 9 minutes and 58 seconds. Quickly scanning the text, I confirm the rules match the memories locked in my head. These rules show up at every entry, but I only look to verify if my presence has altered the timeline. Am I a butterfly causing ripples? I scan the unfamiliar room. It is a standard 4-person dorm, and a freshman student identification card sits on the desk. Stepping to the window, I peer outside to get my bearings. Time inside this pocket dimension operates on its own clock, completely cut off from reality. Even though it is the dead of night back home, the sun here blazes high at midday. Suddenly, the wooden door creaks open, and 2 chatty university students walk straight into the dorm room. One guy spots me, grins, and suggests that since classes are canceled this afternoon, we should go play some video games. I squint at them, recognizing the fake identity this space has assigned me, and slowly shake my head, telling them to go ahead without me because I have got to head out. Dropping into a chair, I pull out my phone and begin searching the web. Verifying if the monster data in my memories matches reality is my top priority. The 2 boys climb onto a bunk and boot up an online match. A moment later, I exhale a soft sigh of relief. My butterfly ripples have not changed a thing. The upcoming enemies are locked in, and they are definitely zombies. Forums are buzzing with rumors of an unknown virus. It is a subtle clue planted by the system for any clever player to read ahead of time, but actually connecting those dots in time? Well, that comes down to pure luck. I pocket my phone and glance at the 2 guys glued to their screens. Their role in this trial is grim and simple. Once that timer hits 0, they will mutate into hungry zombies and rip me apart. Honestly, you would not believe how many rookies trip and fail right at this exact starting line. I stand up and stroll over, teasing that since they suck at the game, they should watch me play instead. One replies without looking up, eyes glued to the display. A cold, merciless light flashes in my gaze as I strike without warning. 2 precise, brutal chops slam into their exposed necks, and they both collapse instantly. I tear up a bedsheet and tie them securely to the frame. Killing them now gets me nothing, but letting them turn into monsters first guarantees valuable energy drops and reward cards. Once finished, I slip out. 5 minutes later, I return to the dorm. This time, I am armed with a heavy fire axe. Placing it on the desk, I quietly watch the unconscious pair until the 10-minute timer runs out. The system echoes that the hunt has begun. Right on cue, the 2 boys start to violently convulse, their limbs twisting and jerking painfully. Their healthy skin shrivels and rots at a sickening speed. A foul zombie miasma leaks from their pores, leaving them bloodless and waxy. In a single breath, right before my eyes, they complete the turn into mindless zombies. Their milk-white eyes snap open, locking right onto me as they thrash wildly against their ropes. I quickly cast my Eye of Insight on them. Both are just basic common zombies. The system ranks their combat rating as trash, but they have snatchable skills, a white zombie aura, and yellow super hearing. My eyebrows twitch as a sudden rush of pure hype hits my chest. zombie aura and super hearing right off the bat, on my very first kill. Honestly, this system is basically begging me to cheat, and I am totally down. I grin, raise my heavy fire axe, and put them both down with a few quick swings. The system chimes to confirm 2 clean kills, rewarding me 1 point each. Then a third message pops up, announcing that my first kill has unlocked the public chat and trading systems. I already know how those features work, so I just ignore the notifications. The real prize is the 2 glowing orbs floating over the dead bodies, one white, one yellow. These are the actual traits. I reach out, grab them, and watch them sink directly into my palms. A prompt confirms that I have successfully snagged both zombie aura and super hearing. Zombie aura will let me blend in by masking me with a corpse-like presence, while super hearing dials my senses up to 11. Both abilities integrate into my soul instantly. Super hearing stays on passively all the time, but the zombie aura is something I can toggle whenever I want. My ears give a sharp twitch as every sound within 10 meters suddenly amplifies. I can literally hear a single mosquito buzzing a meter away. The rapid vibration of its wings sounds like it is right inside my ear. Under normal circumstances, tracking that would be impossible. My hearing is insanely sharp now. Shaking off the awe, I decide to try toggling on the zombie aura. While my physical look stays exactly the same, my warmth completely vanishes, replaced by a sickening, decaying scent. By smell alone, I am practically a walking corpse. The only issue is I can't steal the same tier twice. I can only overwrite them with a higher rank. And since the upgrade feature is still locked right now, I can't just farm these 2 forever, which is a real shame. But hey, I can't complain. Having this aura is basically a cheat code for total invisibility in an apocalypse, which is going to save me a ton of hassle. Without wasting another second, I move out. Aura activated. Axe ready in my grip. I push the door open and slip into the hallway. Time to hunt. Let's set a simple starting goal, 100 of them. Right now, 3 swaying zombies are standing in the hallway, turning slowly toward my doorway as they catch the sound. Out of pure instinct, I take a couple of steps back and squeeze the handle of my axe a bit tighter. The closest monster reaches the threshold, sniffs the air, identifies my dead scent, and completely ignores me to shuffle right past. From the first one to the third, they all do the exact same thing, and I literally cannot stop myself from smiling. This aura is an absolute masterpiece. I quietly lift my heavy axe above the 3 mindless targets huddled right in front of me, and just like chopping cabbage, I take all 3 of their heads off. Black blood splatters the walls. That is 3 more points for me. Then check this out. A translucent white card drifts out of a corpse, hovering in midair. An actual item drop, which is a massive win right now. I grab the card and inspect the details. It is for a run-fast electric scooter, basically a green-plated bike that can hit speeds of 60 kilometers per hour, fast enough that the traffic police wouldn't stand a chance. I chuckle to myself, thinking they wouldn't even need to chase me. They would just pull me over instantly for riding without a helmet. Still, I slide it in my pocket. Activating these is incredibly simple. Once you summon the item, it becomes physical and can never turn back into a card. Plus, when a survivor exits this trial, any leftover cards are automatically converted directly into killing points, 100 each, which basically makes them the primary currency and the exact money everyone will soon be trading with. Cards drop in all forms: weapons, food, and medicine. Survival and medical cards are heavily prized because their drop rates are ridiculously low and everyone desperately needs them. Rations and clean water are life itself, and some maps don't have either. This first zone is easy since it only lasts a single day, so you could easily survive without drinking a drop. So the true value of resource cards hasn't sunk in yet, but that changes quickly. The second trial runs for 2 days, and the third runs for 3. These countdowns keep scaling up until runs last for weeks, meaning unprepared survivors end up starving to death before they even realize. An early drop is a fantastic sign. I keep moving forward. Tuning my hearing, I head to the next dorm room, kick the door open, and rush in. 10 seconds later, I walk back out with an even bloodier axe, immediately heading to the next target. About half an hour later, I finish clearing out another room, collapse into a chair to catch my breath, and look over my loot. I've got 3 cards now: the run-fast scooter, a pair of black stockings, and a branded pack of 8 sanitary pads. Besides the scooter, none of this stuff is useful to me right now. But down the line, everyone learns a hard truth: there are no useless cards, only people who don't know how to use them. Imagine a woman trapped in this brutal killing space, suddenly getting her period. Right then, sanitary pads instantly become way more valuable than food or water. It is the same deal with stockings. I mean, if you are going to rob a bank, how is anyone supposed to know your plans without one over your head? Something useless to me right now is totally different from actually being worthless. I can easily trade every bit of this junk to desperate survivors for items I actually need. After putting my cards away, I clear my head and open up the global chat. It is already flooded with hundreds of frantic messages, mostly just useless noise. Like one guy who is trapped in a hotel bathroom crying for toilet paper, another person is losing their mind after making their first kill, while someone else is terrified their wound might infect them. Then there is someone asking if anyone else is alive in the mall. I just shake my head. Every single text costs a valuable killing point, and these clueless idiots are bleeding their points away on useless gossip, completely blind to what they are actually wasting. Since nothing here helps, I check the trading platform, but it is totally bare, not a single listing in sight. Either nobody has pulled a card, they wasted them instantly, or they just do not get how this system works. But check this out, I can already smell a massive profit. Right now, I am the only one who knows these cards convert into killing points. That massive information gap is my golden ticket to sweep up everyone's cards for basically nothing. All I have to do is wait. They have only just arrived here. Not enough cards are out there yet, and nobody is loaded. I will wait until they are ripe for the picking. For now, my only goal is slaying faster. I look down at my chipped, dull axe and get up. This thing is way too slow. I need a real weapon. Even with my massive cheat active, hacking through zombies with this garbage tool is ridiculous. My old, careful plan is officially out the window. Stepping outside the dorm, I pull a scooter key straight out of thin air. I hit the button and walk down the line of parked bikes. 2 quick chirps go off and a pair of headlights flashes twice. I grin, "You are the one." Completely ignoring the confused stares of nearby zombies, I hop on, twist the ignition, pull up my phone navigation, and head straight for the nearest police station. I start humming a silly little song to myself about how my sweet ride will never get stuck in post-apocalyptic traffic. I cruise right through campus, barely getting a second look from the stray zombies wandering around. The second they sniff that familiar, undead scent coming off me, they instantly lose all interest. As I pass a classroom hall, a desperate scream cuts through the air. Some girl is begging the handsome guy on the scooter to save her. I brake and look up. A tall girl in messy pajamas is clinging to an outdoor air conditioning unit on the second floor, waving her arms in absolute terror. With how wildly she is thrashing around in those loose clothes, some things that should probably stay covered are slipping out, though she obviously does not give a damn about that right now. Through the window right next to her, multiple zombies are lunging and clawing at the air, while a whole pack waits right below. She is completely trapped with absolutely nowhere to run. I yell up to her to believe in herself and keep holding on exactly where she is. Total relief washes over her face. She nods her head frantically, yelling back that she will stay completely still and wait for me. Before she can even finish her sentence, I rev my engine, spin the scooter around, and speed away. Hey, adults are responsible for their own survival. Why would I bother saving her? If she actually does what I said and stays completely still, she will survive. Sure, she is cornered, but this survival zone only lasts for a single day with 0 special missions. It is basically a freebie round. Even if someone just hides without food or water, they will still get teleported out with rewards when the timer hits 0. There is 0 reason to play hero. Behind me, the girl loses her mind, screaming for me to come back, calling me a heartless bastard, screaming to know if I am even a man, begging for help. I just rev the gas and ride faster. Honestly, this is human nature stripped completely bare. Years down the line, everyone gets used to this cold reality. Inside these survival zones, keeping yourself alive is the only rule that counts. Anyone who tries to play the heroic main character or savior learns within an hour exactly how sickening and cruel humanity can truly get. Drop the urge to save people and just respect their own personal fate. That is the ultimate law of this survival zone. As I ride, I pass more survivors, some screaming at me from behind closed windows. Some are already half dead. A few even try to seduce me to come help, though none of them have anything valuable enough to buy my attention. 4 survivors in a single school. That is a bit too crowded for comfort, considering there are 100,000 people in this entire run. But once you subtract the ones who got slaughtered immediately and those who crawled into hiding, only a few tens of thousands are actually left. And they are scattered across a massive city the size of a provincial capital. So running into 4 survivors in one school is actually pretty crazy. The system probably lowered the difficulty for the opening act, forcing people together to huddle for safety. I gun the throttle, and my little scooter speeds off campus, following the map straight toward my real target. Pure chaos fills the streets, storefronts torn open, everything is ruined from the descent, and abandoned cars pile up so thickly they block the road completely. I am pretty glad I never took a real car. I would still be stuck back at the campus gate. This scooter is far better. I happily cruise along, picking my tune back up, riding my beloved little scooter that never gets stuck in traffic, well, unless there is actual road work ahead. And just like that, I am forced to stop. Construction ahead, fencing stretches straight across the asphalt, and looking through the barrier, I spot deep trenches and massive sewer pipes lying right beside them. Just some classic sewer maintenance. I complain that my stupid map navigation is totally useless for not flagging this construction zone. 1-star rating. Luckily, the police station is pretty close, just 1 kilometer off. So, I simply ditch the scooter and walk the rest of the way. Right outside the police station, a random stone clangs loudly against a trash can, and that noise immediately pulls the attention of several figures lurking around inside. Zombies stagger toward the noise. Across the street inside a shop, 2 guys are hiding behind a slightly open door, watching everything. The guy wearing black-rimmed glasses pumps his fist and quietly celebrates, whispering that their plan actually worked to draw the monsters out. Meanwhile, the other, his face completely covered in acne, looks absolutely terrified and whispers back, asking if they really have to do this, or if hiding out was the better plan. The glasses-wearing guy gives him a super serious stare, adjusts his frames with one finger, and tells him they have absolutely no choice. Based on his years of reading web novels, these zombies are bound to evolve, and once that happens, they are both 100% dead. They need weapons to survive, otherwise their great starting spot goes to waste. Honestly, these 2 had gotten incredibly lucky, landing right next to the police station when the chaos started. They both panicked and rushed straight into a nearby lingerie shop, accidentally killed the shop owner in a frantic panic, locked themselves inside, and never dared to step out again. Once the glasses guy realized what was happening, his paranoia kicked in, and he knew he had to get weapons from the police station next door. But since the station was packed with zombies, he relied on master strategy. He decided to use a simple decoy, which explains that trash can hit. And get this, his frantic effort actually worked, clearing the yard so they finally had a perfect chance to slip inside. The acne-faced guy is still terrified, pointing out that there are 5 monsters right in the yard, with countless more inside, and just the 2 of them. Our glasses guy insists there is absolutely nothing to worry about, saying they do not need brute force. Unlike those brainless monsters, they have wits, and they will just keep using cheap tricks to lure them away. Worst case scenario, running away is always the best option, since those slow zombies can never catch them anyway. He starts packing up his things to head out, but suddenly, his partner grabs his sleeve and points wildly out the door, yelling at him to look because some random guy is actually walking out there. Waving him off dismissively, the glasses guy says there are obviously other people around. There are 100,000 of them, so stop overreacting. The acne-faced guy stammers that, no, this guy literally just strolled down the street, and the zombies completely ignored him. That gets his friend's attention, and he quickly crouches down to look. And there he is, a young guy casually walking down the road, completely relaxed, while the zombies wandering around him do not even blink. They show absolutely no desire to attack him. He mutters that this makes 0 sense, and he just does not understand it. His partner adds that the stranger is heading straight for the police station, too, making the glasses guy worry that this random guy has the exact same plan as them. By this time, I make it to the entrance and spot a few zombie cops aimlessly circling a trash can. I stare at them, honestly pretty confused because there is nothing special about this trash can. No chopped off limbs, no bones, nothing to explain why they are so obsessed. But I shrug it off a second later and step right into the yard. After taking a few steps though, I stop and look back, and tell the zombies to cut it out, stop crowding the trash can, and get back to work. Whether they understand my words or just the vibe, they exchange blank stares and actually shuffle back to the station entrance to resume patrol. I nod, quite satisfied. Having more guards at the entrance makes my new base a lot safer. I head inside, while across the street, the glasses guy almost loses his mind. He angrily hisses that the stranger did this on purpose, completely ruining the perfect distraction he spent 30 minutes setting up. Honestly, would you be able to stay calm? This random guy ruined his 30-minute plan with one sentence, utterly destroying his sanity. He is absolutely furious. The acne-faced guy quickly holds him back, terrified that if he makes any more noise, the zombies outside will hear them. He points out the real mystery here. Why did not the dead attack this stranger? And more importantly, why did they actually obey him? The glasses man takes a slow breath as his clever brain starts working again. He agrees the guy was neither targeted nor ignored, which is highly abnormal. He trails off with a dark thought, unless what? The acne-faced guy demands. Maybe he found some legendary treasure, the glasses man reasons, but no, that makes no sense. An artifact might keep the undead from attacking, but it could never make them follow orders. Then he remembers the stranger calling the zombies you all, talking to them like they were his own kind. The acne-faced guy nods, confirming those exact words. The glasses man looks like someone who just cracked the ultimate puzzle. He pushes his frames up, declaring there is only one possible truth left for them. That stranger is not a survivor. He is a zombie, and a high-level one at that. Just like in those web novels, he explains that evolved zombies look almost human. They carry weird abilities, and they can easily command the lower undead. The acne-faced guy drops his jaw in pure shock, but the glasses man instantly panics. Evolved zombies have insanely sharp senses, meaning they need to run right now or they will be dead before they even blink. He scrambles to pack, but his partner grabs his arm in pure panic. Look at that, the stranger just guided a horde right to their shop, completely trapping them inside. Meanwhile, I head deeper into the police station, finding way more zombies, mostly wearing officer uniforms. I clear the rooms fast and stop near a stairwell, spotting exactly what I came for: the building blueprints. A quick search reveals my target, the Special Police Equipment Department. I know for a fact that the gear I need is waiting right behind those doors. 10 minutes later, I am staring at rows of guns and ammo, unable to hold back a wild grin. Time to go shopping. Skip the heavy body armor. A tactical vest works fine. Night vision goggles? Absolutely. Since nightfall is coming, and these babies are going to be a lifesaver, I grab 2 submachine guns since I cannot carry any more. As for bullets, the more, the better. I grab some tear gas and flashbangs for insurance. I am fully loaded now, though I seriously regret finding 0 grenades. But high-grade explosives are heavily restricted here. This is not some lawless wasteland, and even elite officers need tons of official paperwork to unlock them. No grenades? No problem. What I have is more than enough. Eyeing the still-packed armory, I open the trading menu and put up the batons, stun guns, and flashbangs for barter. I list the riot shields and body armor too, charging just 1 card of any type. I am holding onto the submachine guns for now. Trading lethal military weapons out in the open is just asking for trouble. If someone schemes to ambush me with my own traded gear, I would be the idiot. Stun guns are slow, short-ranged, single-use, and pretty harmless overall. They will cause a muscle spasm at best. No threat to me, and I am certain people will jump at the offer. If they do not trade now, they will by nightfall. Nobody can resist a massive survival upgrade like this. I scan the armory and head out. Time to hunt, though not inside the station yet, since these zombies make perfect guards to keep others from stealing my weapons. I step outside fully geared. I herd all the roaming zombies outside into the courtyard, slamming the heavy iron gates shut to trap their noise. With that done, I make my way toward the busy main street. The glasses guy, watching 10 zombies get locked right outside, swallows a scream of rage, swearing to be this stranger's mortal enemy forever. His acne-faced companion quickly slaps a hand over his mouth, pleading with him to stay quiet, pointing out that this might actually be a huge blessing in disguise. Their front entrance is completely clear now, meaning they can finally escape. He even suggests they should thank that high-level zombie for the help. The glasses guy snarls that he will thank the man's grandmother instead. Minutes later, absolutely terrified, the 2 of them finally make a run for it, because this area is way too cursed to survive another second. Neither of them can take the pressure anymore. By the time they escape, I am already standing on a rooftop just 1 street over, watching the mindless zombies below before pulling out a massive bundle of firecrackers. I spark my lighter, ignite them, and hurl them down. The deafening explosions tear through the street, echoing down every nearby alleyway. The zombies snap around as one, marching directly toward my position. I wait in absolute silence. Once the first pack burns out, I reach down for another from my box. That deafening racket never stops, drawing endless waves of the undead into the streets below. Honestly, watching this massive crowd multiply in real time is wild. Staring down at the pile, I grin and let the slaughter begin. Gripping the submachine gun with both hands, I fire straight into the thick crowd without even aiming. Muzzle fire lights up the dark, lead tears into the crowd. Within seconds, blood sprays everywhere and roars echo endlessly, drenching the entire street in pure, savage chaos. To me, this is nothing. I have seen way worse. Can you imagine watching a close comrade get stomped into a ball of meat, his blood raining all over you? After seeing enough of that, a slaughter like this does not faze me at all. All I feel now is excitement. The sheer thrill of finally standing above it all, ruling over these monsters like a god. You can see how this complete reversal of roles pulls me in deep. The gunfire goes on for several minutes. My ammo is almost gone, and the muzzle is so hot the surrounding air warps. But the results? Totally worth it. Not a single zombie is left standing, the entire street carpeted in severed limbs and a river of blood. I check my count. My kill value reads 320. Staring at a number over 300, a surge of pride rises within me. In my past life, after clawing through an entire killing space, getting 100 kills was a massive achievement. Clearing out the undead by the hundreds like this was something I never even dreamed of. From a starting point this high, if I do not stumble, my record will remain completely unrivaled. All of this stored kill value will convert into absolute power when settlement comes. Once a killing space closes, survivors enter a settlement zone where accumulated kill value buys special goods. I take a breath, frown at the wreckage, and wade right into the blood and limbs to harvest the cards. It is a pretty gross chore since I have to grab them by hand. Luckily, the drop rate is low enough that it is not too much work. Still, after all that killing, I only get some branded shampoo, a 200 milliliter bottle, a sterilizing spray, 1 high explosive grenade, 3 550 milliliter bottles of water, and 2 packs of fish-flavored pork. But every single item has its uses. Shampoo seems useless until you spend weeks in a forest zone with your hair matted into ropes. Then, 1 bottle is absolute heaven. No useless cards, only the wrong scenario. I pocket everything, keeping the grenade card in its own separate slot so I can pull it instantly when danger strikes. A habit I built in my future life. Suddenly, 3 people come sprinting out from the far end of the street. One is screaming to run because something is right behind them, while another shouts that this way is clear. They keep throwing frantic looks over their shoulders. Then they see the street ahead and slam to a dead stop. Their bodies freeze up instantly. They just stare at me, standing alone among the dead, absolute horror on their faces. One stammers about all the dead zombies, and the other snaps back that he does not need to be told. He has eyes. Wang Bip had completely run out of luck. His group had originally huddled together in a small shop to stay safe, but when a loud burst of firecrackers lured the zombies off the road, they spotted the underground supermarket across the street and got greedy. After a quick plan, they slipped inside for weapons, only to run straight into a massive variant, leaving them with no choice but to flee down any open path. They never expected to run into a literal river of blood and bodies before even shaking the big guy off. One of them actually gags, but with an empty stomach, he only brings up dry spit. Another finally notices my high-tier gear and yells out that the person standing there is actually a human. He screams that I have weapons and that they are saved, then bolts right toward me, swearing they are unharmed survivors. He begs me to shoot the monster chasing them. Right then, a wall at the end of the street shatters, and a creature nearly 3 meters tall bursts into view. And guys, this is no ordinary rotter. Its skin is perfectly intact, and its muscles bulge out like some kind of terrifying demonic strongman. Each thick arm is about the size of my thigh. I quickly trigger my Eye of Insight. It reads as a mutated zombie. Its combat rating is 1 star, early stage. It possesses yellow tier zombie aura, yellow tier super hearing, and yellow tier strength enhancement. A sharp glint crosses my eyes. So, it really is a mutated zombie. In my past life, people whispered about unique variants showing up in the first killing space. They were incredibly dangerous and vanishingly rare, and I never saw one back then. Yet, just by standing still here, one has delivered itself right to my door. I want that strength. That 1 star, early stage rating does not worry me one bit. Combat rating is just the system's own measuring stick for power. Having a single stat over 30 earns 1 star, and every 30 points after adds another. There are early, middle, and late tiers inside each star rank, decided by every 10 points in that highest stat. This mutated monster's strongest stat is definitely its physical strength, which easily clears 30. But being only 1 star early, it falls short of 40. That is about 3 or 4 times a normal human's power, but against my weapons and combat experience, it is no real problem. Across the street, the mutated monster watches me, puzzled. It originally mistook me for a regular human, but a closer look tells its tiny brain that I am actually a zombie. Now, it is totally stumped on why every other zombie here is dead while I stand alone. Its simple mind cannot wrap itself around a riddle like that for very long. So it throws a couple more looks my way before turning back to those 3 running targets. Then it lets out a massive roar, a sound that is completely inhuman. And looking at its ugly face, I can somehow tell exactly what it wants. It expects this little human to go block its dinner. Honestly, I added the little guy part myself since standing next to a 3-meter monster makes anyone look tiny. But then, the mutated zombie looks completely confused. Sure, those 3 runners stopped. But why is this tiny human just hanging out and talking to them, chatting with its actual snacks? The beast really does not get it, and its tiny zombie brain is basically short-circuiting right now. By now, the runners have reached me, led by a guy under 30 wearing a bright floral shirt and jeans named Wang Bop. He quickly warns me that the monster is insanely powerful. I just give them a flat look and tell them coldly to get lost. To them, I sound absolutely freezing. I threw ice on their warning, and though they hate it, they are too terrified to push back because of my weapons. Their greedy eyes trace my submachine gun, the pistol, and the taser at my hip as they swallow hard with pure jealousy. Suddenly, a sneaky idea sparks in Wang Bop's eyes, and instead of running off, he asks if I can spare a weapon. Maybe the taser, since 4 of us fighting together have a better shot. He is pretty clever, not asking for the submachine gun or the pistol. Nobody hands real lethal weapons to a stranger. He only begs for the taser because it is short-ranged, easily avoided, and something a guy with a submachine gun probably would not miss. To make it sound better, he tells me not to worry, saying we are all stuck in this together, that they mean no harm, and that I still hold all the real firepower anyway, and they swear to return my weapon the second the beast drops. His friends nod along eagerly, their intense hunger for my gear totally obvious. I laugh inside. Their pathetic plan is so obvious, they might as well just scream it in my face. If I give them a weapon, they are keeping it forever, because promises in this deadly zone mean absolutely nothing. They are not even worth a single grain of dirt. I really do not feel like wasting any more breath. So I decide to convince them a different way, sliding my barrel right at the 3 of them and barking out one simple word: leave. Their faces twitch as they secretly curse me for being an idiot. One of the younger guys cannot help but whine, saying they are all just trying to survive here. And honestly, we all know how that ends. A sharp gunshot cuts him off and his skull erupts, splattering blood all over Wang Bop and the other guy. They both freeze instantly, completely pale with absolute terror. As they freeze in shock, I aim the barrel right at them. One tries to beg, but 2 quick bangs later, both hit the dirt. If they refuse to get lost, they can just stay here forever. I ignore their bodies and focus back on the mutated zombie. Meanwhile, up on a 4th floor window nearby, 2 hidden guys are watching, looking terrified, having run over to see what all the noise was about and witnessing everything. The younger underling quietly whispers that this guy is a total psycho. He realizes that humans are somehow even more dangerous than the literal monsters around them. His boss just nods silently with glowing eyes, pointing down at me and asking if the subordinate saw what I have. Saw what? The kid asks, and the boss points out my firearm. If they grab that gun, they can easily dominate this whole area, but I will never hand it over willingly. The subordinate looks doubtful, but the boss just chuckles quietly, saying that giant mutated zombie is insanely dangerous. Maybe, just maybe, they can clean up the leftovers. Meanwhile, the monster charges. That giant had been idling in place before, but me wiping out those 3 snacks without even taking a bite felt like a massive insult to its pride. A direct challenge. And look at this absolute monster go. Every single step shakes the concrete below, showing off its crazy physical power. I keep my expression calm while quickly calculating its stats. Massive arm strength, insanely tough skin, but thankfully stupid. And its movement speed is way slower than its raw power, though it is still slightly quicker than me. Okay, plan made. Keep pushing it back with heavy fire and pray my ammo holds out. I raise my weapon and open fire. I backpedal quickly while shooting, peppering the giant target with lead before it can even touch me. Countless bullets tear straight into its massive flesh, breaking its physical frame. But this is still a zombie. Unless I obliterate its brain or spine, it just keeps moving. So it blocks its face with its massive arms and keeps marching forward, though its charge is cut in half. And I am barely managing to keep it at a distance. But then, a sharp clicking sound echoes. The gun in my left hand is completely empty. The last bullet was spent in that desperate defensive spray. I drop the empty gun, continuing to fire with my right hand while my left slips inside my coat. I pull out a special card, which quickly transforms into a black, high-explosive grenade. At this point, personally, I do not care about spending 100,000 points, because putting this monster down and stealing its loot makes it totally worth the price. Yanking the metal pin, I launch it straight at the mutated zombie, and run like absolute hell. The explosion rumbles down the street like thunder, kicking up thick dust, as I duck behind cover and watch the show. Once the dust clears, the carnage appears. A crater scars the road, and the mutated zombie crawls at its edge. Half its body is blasted away, one leg stripped to the bone, and its torso shredded like a sieve. Normally, these wounds would end anyone instantly, but since a zombie can still bite with just a head, it drags its broken body toward me on a single arm, painting the asphalt with blood. I walk up to it coldly. I toss aside my empty submachine gun, pulling a backup pistol from my waist. The creature is still trying to crawl, so I aim straight at its head and pull the trigger. The system alert pops up. Mutated zombie eliminated, earning 100 killing value. Perfect. My killing value is ticking up again. Up in the nearby building, Huang Qi watches the fight, eyeing my gear with raw greed. But his expression turns sour. The guy had a grenade. It is a pity the two sides did not just take each other out entirely. His underling points out that I do not even look hurt and asks what their next move is. Huang Qi narrows his eyes and changes the plan, ordering they go down to trail me. Why follow him? The confused underling asks, earning a sharp glare. Huang Qi snaps that after clearing so many monsters, my ammo has to be empty. I will definitely go to restock, so they just need to shadow me. He gets excited as he speaks, as if a whole weapon cache is practically theirs already. But even if we find the guns, the underling mutters, will he just hand them over? Hand them over, Huang Qi scoffs. Those weapons were never his anyway. Unless he guards them 24/7, the second he walks away is our chance to strike. While those two are busy with their little schemes, we get to watch the real prize drop, and the loot is insane. Zombie aura at yellow tier, and strength enhancement at yellow. The yellow tier zombie aura cloaks me in a mutated beast's presence, making weak monsters naturally avoid me while allowing me to easily command them. Meanwhile, strength enhancement drastically boosts my raw power. Since my super hearing cannot stack duplicates, only the other two skills merge into me. Instantly, my zombie aura surges, expanding until it perfectly matches the vibe of that dead mutated beast. There are no common monsters around to test this power on, but a massive wave of vital energy suddenly explodes through my body, carving my muscles. Thankfully, I do not end up transforming into a disgusting, bloated monster like the zombie did. Instead, my bones and muscles simply pack on incredible density, perfectly tailored to the physique I already possess. I was genuinely terrified of becoming some freakish giant, so seeing this normal change is a huge relief. The system truly does top-tier work. Within a few short seconds, my entire body feels completely reborn, with raw power vibrating through my soul. I immediately pull up my stats. Strength 33, Constitution 15, Speed 12, Spirit 20. My current talents are Gold Tier Eye of Insight, Yellow Zombie Aura, Yellow Super Hearing, and Yellow Strength Enhancement, with 0 skills. My killing value sits at 420, pushing me to 1-star initial rank. That single strength boost shot my stats up by 23 points, launching me past 30. I knew upgrading skills would boost stats, but seeing the numbers right here still blows my mind. Normal survivors can only grow stronger after they actually escape this space. Yet I power up right in the middle of it just by killing. Seriously, who else can do that? Calmly, I turn my attention to the mutated zombie's other drop, a rare white card marked with a giant question mark instead of the usual patterns. This is a lottery card exclusive to mutated beasts, offering a random pull for rare gear, specialized supplies, unique treasures, or even raw stat points. I pick it up, I rub my hands together, getting that classic blind box thrill as I finally activate the card. Our reward? A set of legendary nanotech combat armor. It features constant temperature control, fireproofing, waterproofing, extreme durability, and can change shape at will. Real nanotech armor, I want to scream with joy. The description says it looks plain, but its utility is massive since the killing space is rarely a gentle, pleasant place. You can face freezing cold, searing heat, or even vacuum zones. Surviving means battling the brutal elements just as much as fighting the monsters. This suit instantly skyrockets my survival rates, providing armor-class protection that easily deflects most standard bullets. Unless I get hit by armor-piercing rounds or specialized weapons, this gear will scarcely wear down. An incredible defensive layer. In my past life, any piece of nanotech like this went for absolutely insane prices. I fought tooth and nail, bleeding constantly just to secure one set in my previous life. Yet now, it drops right into my hands. I shed my old rags right then and there, sliding into the sleek suit and shifting its form into a cool Special Forces uniform. Perfect. I sweep the area one last time, find no other loot, and head back toward the police station to restock and keep pushing forward. Shortly after I leave, 2 shadowy figures quietly step out onto the empty street. It is Huang Qi and his underling. Huang Qi tells him to move, follow, and keep a safe distance. Minutes later, I return to the bureau, and my face immediately falls. The courtyard gate is hanging wide open, and inside, the dozen zombies I pinned are dead on the floor. Raided. I stomp my foot and rush inside without a second thought. Behind a thick tree in the far corner, a mutated zombie idly pokes a corpse with its pitch-black claws, almost like it is looking for something. Then, sensing a new presence, the creature instantly vanishes, reappearing right at the base of the tree. It spots me already vaulting into the bureau. Sensing my heavy zombie aura, it tilts its head, a brief flicker of actual intelligence crossing its dark eyes. Right as it starts to chase me, its head suddenly snaps toward the courtyard gate. Across the street, 2 men are crouching in a shop, spying on us. None other than Huang Qi. The underling whispers that this must be where the kid gets his weapons. Huang Qi nods, noting every zombie in the yard was clearly killed by him. Should they charge in? The underling asks. Charge with what? Huang Qi snaps. Your life. He tells him to wait until the kid leaves. Just then, the underling spots a tiny zombie child stepping out of a doorway across the street, heading right toward them. Huang Qi watches the small creature for a couple of seconds, pursing his lips. He says they should strike while the coast is clear. He might not handle a grown zombie, but he can absolutely take down a zombie kid. With weapons raised, the 2 of them charge out of the shop, only to freeze because the little zombie is completely gone. They literally just saw it 3 seconds ago, and there is no way it could have vanished in that time. Stammering, the underling gasps that this place must be haunted. Huang Qi smacks him across the back of the head, snapping that nothing is haunted because the rules clearly say only one type of monster is allowed here. It is just zombies, no ghosts. But the kid really did vanish. The underling insists it probably just slipped into the courtyard. Huang Qi agrees and tells him they should go look. A small target is hard to find, and they cannot let it escape. Shoulder to shoulder, they scan the area, watching for the child. Suddenly, Huang Qi feels something repeatedly poking his lower back. Without looking, he swats backward, grumbling for his underling to watch his weapon because it keeps stabbing him in the kidney. The underling quickly protests that it is not him. His own weapon is raised high. Nonsense, Huang Qi says, reaching back to grab the cold, long, flat object behind him. He is holding it right now, so if it is not the underling, then who? The words completely die in his throat. His body goes completely rigid as he slowly turns to look behind him. A mutated zombie stands there, curiously wrapping its long, sharp nails around his weapon. A zombie, he screams, bringing his wooden bat crashing down hard right on its skull. The bat shatters completely in his terrified hands, leaving the mutated zombie slightly dazed but unharmed. Run, he croaks. In a sudden rush of pure panic, he drops the broken bat, spins around, and bolts as fast as he can. By the time he is 2 meters away, the underling finally snaps out of it and scrambles after him. That hit completely kills the zombie's curiosity, instantly replacing it with a desire for absolute slaughter. Roaring, it stomps the ground and blurs into a dark streak after the underling. Sharp claws spear directly into the man's back, tearing out a bloody kidney and a huge patch of skin. The underling shrieks once and collapses, twitching on the ground. Huang Qi hears the scream, looks back, and shivers down to his very bones. Honestly, who wouldn't cover their own back and run even faster after seeing a horror show like that? The creature's bloodlust only grows. It swallows the torn organ, licks its lips, and reaches back down to pluck out the underling's other kidney. He screams, both kidneys torn away. After struggling for 2 seconds, the underling goes silent forever. The zombie eats, then spots Huang Qi stumbling away and lifts a foot to pursue. Huang Qi is running completely blind with terror. Without even realizing it, he flees straight into the bureau's courtyard. He slams the gate shut behind him, praying for time, then throws himself toward the main building. Just one thought remains: get inside. He needs to find that guy and survive. He bursts through the entrance, opens a door, slams it shut, and locks it in one smooth motion. With a solid door finally separating him from the nightmare outside, he feels like he can actually take a breath. He pants heavily against the wood, but there is no time to waste when finding that guy is his only hope. Dozens of eyes are locked onto him. Zombies. The entire bureau is crawling with them, and he just ran straight into their nest. No way, he stammers. This is impossible. He literally saw the guy walk inside. How are there still so many zombies standing? Why did not that man clear them out? Then the horde erupts, roaring as they swarm him. He screams out that this cannot be real, and that he does not want to die. Meanwhile, back at the entrance, I have absolutely no clue. With my ammo refilled and the depot door safely locked behind me, I stroll back out, looking at all these thrashing zombies in total shock. It is a total zombie free-for-all. Why are they tearing each other apart? Glancing at the blocked exit, I scoff and tell them to behave. The moment I speak, the chaotic frenzy freezes. An instant later, as if they actually understood me, they scatter in every direction. I almost laugh. Before, this was impossible. But now that my zombie aura is yellow, I have pretty precise command over these normal dead guys. As they clear out, I notice a bloody, mangled shape on the floor, and my eyebrow perks up. Since when do zombies eat their own? Are they really that starved? Well, I do not dwell on it. Stepping to the exit, I kick the shredded corpse out of my way and haul the heavy door open. I tell them to be good and guard the place, and if they get hungry, to hunt for food themselves. With those final words, I slam the door shut behind me. I walk toward the courtyard gate, unhurried. My ammo is heavy, and my gun is ready at my hip. Suddenly, my ears twitch as my yellow super hearing catches a sound behind me. I whip my head around just as a dark shadow charges in screaming, and just like that, boom! A sharp spike of pain drives right into my lower back. A heavy, crushing impact throws me staggering 3 steps sideways. But old habits kick in. I plant my feet, riding the momentum forward, taking another step or two before stopping against a flower bed. Only then do I turn around to look at where I was standing. A mutated zombie stands there, shaped like a child, head tilted, quietly studying me. I use my eye of insight on it. It is a 1-star mid-stage mutated zombie with a yellow zombie aura, yellow super hearing, and yellow speed enhancement. A 1-star mid-stage build with speed stats over 40. So this is that little monster from the courtyard. I reach back and touch the sharp ache in my spine. Thankfully, my nanotech armor is completely intact, without a single scratch on it, letting me exhale a quiet sigh of relief. If I was still wearing my old clothes, that claw would have ripped me wide open. The wound itself is not the problem, it is the deadly virus on those pitch-black nails. Ever since my rebirth, everything has gone pretty smoothly. Good fortune kept falling right into my lap, and somewhere along the way, I let my guard down. Knowing the area is not the same as being safe, this is a brutal war zone, not a vacation. The mutated zombie lunges again, aiming straight for my kidneys, either because it wants to eat them, or simply because of its short height. No time to overthink. I raise my submachine gun and unload, aiming low at its legs and head. It obviously has never seen a gun before, because it does not even try to dodge. A heavy hail of bullets shreds into its body, making its legs buckle until it almost collapses to the dirt. But it quickly snaps out of it, growls, and blurs behind a massive tree before I can finish the job. Behind the trunk, black blood leaks from a dozen bullet holes. With part of its neck torn away and one leg shredded to the bone, that massive leg injury should heavily cripple its insane speed. The crimson glow in its eyes flares, radiating a pure killing intent far beyond anything before. But my gun keeps firing, and it stays hidden. I do not stop shooting either. I keep the trigger down and shift my position, peppering the tree trunk. Honestly, guys, this little thing is just way too fast. Whenever it moves, I see absolutely nothing but a dark blur, making it far harder to deal with than those heavy power builds, because sheer speed can easily end a battle. Luckily, its only saving grace is the same as the others, a pretty dumb brain I can easily exploit. I quietly twist my hips, silently begging my vital organs to hold together just a little bit longer. While I am plotting, the monster climbs up the blind side of the trunk to the very top. Its cold eyes glare down at me, waiting for my ammo to run completely dry. The second my gunfire stops and a mechanical click echoes, it seizes its golden opportunity. It drops from the branch like an afterimage, appearing right in my face. 5 sharp claws spear straight toward my lower back. A cold smirk crosses my face. That empty gun was pure theater. Only my left weapon actually ran out, and I deliberately held back my right hand to sell the bait. Everything was perfectly calculated for this exact moment. As its sharp claws lock onto my waist, I do not even flinch. I let it grab me, trusting my nanotech armor to take the blow. Then I twist my right wrist, aiming the muzzle straight into its chest, and squeeze. My weapon unloads at point-blank range. The beast reacts instantly, throwing an arm over its skull to protect its brain. But that is all it can save as its body literally disintegrates. Suddenly, it flashes to my left. Somehow, it realizes my weapon on that side is empty, springing up and rushing straight for my unguarded face. Since it couldn't break my waist, it's aiming to tear my face open instead. But I stay completely cold. When it comes to raw combat experience, this monster is not even in my league. I snap my empty left gun up vertically to block its claws. I let the useless weapon in my right hand fall away, driving a massive uppercut straight into its chin. 33 points of strength smash right into that tiny jaw, caving it deep into its mouth, as the impact launches its entire body into the air. While it hangs suspended in midair, I pivot on my heel and whip a vicious spinning sidekick into its remaining leg. Its joint bends backward with a sickening wet crack before the raw force sends it flying clear across the yard. Oh, you think you are fast? Let me take one of your legs and we will see. I stand my ground instead of chasing. After all, it is still a zombie, and just one lucky scratch mid-combo could infect me with absolutely nowhere left to run. The leg is totally ruined. And that is plenty. It crashes down, trying to spring back up by pure instinct, but immediately collapses. That shattered leg just refuses to launch. I even mock it, telling it to go ahead and jump. Go ahead and run. I will just stand right here and wait for you. I slide a fresh magazine into my right pistol, aim it at the creature thrashing wildly on the dirt, and send a clean burst right through its skull. A system notification confirms this mutated zombie is dead, granting me 100,000 killing points while a glowing knot of yellow light floats off the corpse. Check this out. I grab the floating light, and the system alerts me that I have just claimed a yellow speed enhancement. A strange warmth tingles down my legs. My previously reinforced bone and muscle density hardens even more, and a surge of raw, explosive power wells up from inside. My stat panel updates, and I scan the numbers in my head. Strength 33, Constitution 15, Speed jumps to 40, and Spirit is 20. My talents are Golden Eye of Insight with Zombie Aura, Super Hearing, Power Enhancement, and Speed Enhancement. All at yellow, no skills, killing value 520, and combat rating steady at 1-star mid-stage. That speed upgrade gave me 28 points, even more than my strength boost did. It pushed my speed stat to exactly 40, barely scraping into the 1-star mid-stage bracket. It is not that this runner outranked the power zombie, just that it allocated its stats differently. A pure power build has to split points between strength and physical constitution. Otherwise, where would all that heavy bulk come from? Meanwhile, this small one dumped almost everything into one stat, leaving the rest to rot. And that exact imbalance is what just saved my skin. Now, let's see what that lottery card dropped. I grab the card and use it immediately. The prize turns out to be a single awakening potion, a highly stable oral formula with 0 side effects that offers a massive chance of unlocking my innate talent. This item usually costs 300 points in the system shop, and I had fully planned to purchase a bottle during the post-game settlement. I never expected one to drop from a regular mob for free. Talk about a stroke of luck. Absolutely nothing matters more than this potion right now. Giving up on hunting for now, I slip back into the armory, lock the heavy door behind me, confirm the room is safe, and drink the entire vial. Intense heat explodes from my core, rushing through my whole body. My internal temperature spikes so quickly that my skin would read over 40 degrees Celsius in the blink of an eye. The burning fever hits hard and vanishes just as fast, completely gone in under 5 minutes. Then, the system alerts pop up. My innate ability has officially awakened. I have successfully acquired a private dimensional space, starting at 1 cubic meter, specifically designed for storing inanimate objects. Recognizing my awakening, the system registers it as a personal trait, granting me a white-tier dimensional pocket. Best of all, I finally have permission to upgrade my traits. I will get 1 point every day, and yes, they can be saved up. Just like that, my old power from my past life is back. While a pocket dimension has no offensive power, it is still the most valuable gift anyone could ask for in this world. Best of all, items stored inside slip right past the system inspection, which means from this moment on, I will never have to worry about finding food or water again. As other survivors tear each other apart over a single drop of clean water, I can focus every ounce of my energy entirely on hunting. It scales too. Every 10 points of spirit I gain allows me to expand the space by another cubic meter. On top of that, I can force it to level up using my upgrade points, though those only reset at midnight. I catch myself wondering what a fully upgraded storage space might eventually unlock. Could it actually hold living creatures one day? I put the thought aside. First, let's expand it. My spirit is at 20, which is enough to double the capacity. Sitting down, I close my eyes and focus my mind on that small, empty void of space. I flood it with my own spiritual energy, pushing outward hard from the inside. The invisible barriers yield slowly and stubbornly, expanding until a 2 cubic meter space exists where the single meter once was. Perfect. With just a thought, the submachine gun in my grip vanishes, stashed safely away. I look around the quiet armory. There is absolutely no need for this place anymore. I stand up and start prep work packing magazines, loading rounds, and sliding each full clip into my dimensional storage. Now, I can just summon a fresh mag out of thin air whenever I need it. While tidying up, opening up the world chat, I find it totally blowing up now that survivors are finally settling in and finding the courage to gossip. The feed is flooded with people comparing their starting stats. Some complain about terrible drop rates. Others swear they get cards on every single kill. And a huge crowd is hyping up some mystery seller who just listed a mountain of police gear on the market, including stun guns. Honestly, none of this is worth my time. Closing out the chat, I brainstorm more efficient ways to kill. Fire, ice, acid, or even a furnace. The ideas pop up, but I shoot every single one down. Every option is either too weak to reliably finish a zombie, They might eat up precious consumables mid-slaughter, or totally ruin my card drop rates later. I quietly mutter to myself that what I really need is an automated assembly line of pure destruction. Zombies go in one side, cards pop out the other. The moment those words leave my mouth, I freeze. A shredder. A massive industrial shredder fits every single box. A zombie jumps in, and 2 seconds later, out comes ground meat and maybe a card. All I would have to do is stand at the conveyor belt and collect them. No stop as long as it runs. The cards keep flowing. Even with a slow pace of one zombie every 5 seconds, that is 12 a minute, 720 an hour. A giant shredder can take 3 to 5 at once, pushing it to almost 3,000 an hour. Zero effort, zero exhaustion, absolutely free. For anyone else, the real challenge is figuring out how to make zombies climb inside on their own. But I do not have that issue. My upgraded zombie aura lets me herd these basic walkers like a flock of sheep. This setup was basically custom made for me. And these industrial shredders are pretty easy to find in junkyards, gravel pits, or waste plants. Time is money, and time means more cards. I cannot wait another second. I sweep the loaded clips and ammo crates into my dimensional pocket, open my map, and move out. 30 minutes later, I am standing in a massive, sprawling scrapyard, looking up at the machine in front of me, and I almost burst out laughing. It is an absolute monster, a 44-ton beast known as the Red Giant, securely bolted onto a 100-ton King heavy hauler. Inside the truck cab, a single zombie is trapped, shaking its head in confusion, trying to find a way out that its rotted brain cannot process. It cannot even figure out the handle, pacing around the cab in useless circles. From the looks of it, this Red Giant was either just dropped off or ready for shipment. Either way, it fits my plans perfectly. But scanning the rest of the yard, I only spot a few stray zombies aimlessly wandering. My smile fades because this junkyard is pretty far from populated areas. With so few walkers around, my farming yields would be seriously capped. No worries, I will just bring the machine to them. I yank open the driver's side door and climb right in. Since my yellow tier zombie aura is active, the monster inside immediately goes quiet. It lets me kick it out onto the ground without even a single growl. A moment later, the heavy engine roars to life, rumbling right out of the scrapyard gates, steering toward the densely populated center of the city. 10 minutes and a trail of flattened cars later, I pull over, and the massive horde tracking my racket halts right behind me. Dozens of monsters came hoping for a fresh meal, only to find what smells like another corpse. They just stand there, completely brain-dead, their slow minds trying to solve a riddle they cannot possibly crack. I smirk. The grand opening is about to begin. Half an hour later, blastingly loud, upbeat plaza dance music pierces the quiet night, the exact kind of high-volume tune elderly folks blare from square speakers while dancing in public parks. Every single zombie within earshot stops, slowly turns its head toward the blaring noise, and shuffles forward. Right at the source, I stand waiting with a megaphone. I stand on high my oppressive aura, forcing the ragged column of corpses to bow. Barking out orders, I command them to stand in a straight line. I point at the one-eyed walker and tell it not to think it is special, to get its butt in queue. Next, I snap at a crawler, dragging itself too slowly and holding up the queue, telling it to crawl to the side and get out of my way. Waving the newcomers to the rear, they quickly obey. Crushed under an aura far superior to their own, they move forward in dead silence. At the front of the line is a steep metal ramp leading straight up into the gaping mouth of the Red Giant. The zombies climb up and throw themselves in, one after another. A burst of blood erupts as each is spat out as minced meat, falling onto a conveyor running straight into the sewer. I stand just a few feet away from the exit, megaphone in hand, monitoring the line and scanning for card drops. The dance speakers blast from the top of the truck cab, while additional audio rigs hang from the roofs of nearby buildings, and every so often, a card floats up out of the pulp. Talk about easy. Indirect kills might have lower rates, sure, but this sheer volume completely dominates. This cost me absolutely nothing and does not tire me at all. Win some, lose some. But this deal, heavily stacked in my favor. One card is worth a clean 100 killing points. This is a massive river of passive income. Meanwhile, the local chat channel is completely losing its mind. People are swearing they hear loud dance music in a dead city. Others swear they are not. You have to love this one guy insists he watched zombies form a polite line to jump into a shredder. Self-destructing zombies are one thing, but queuing up politely is just way too crazy for anyone to believe. I let them fight it out, time is wasting. The second a district starts running dry, I simply pack up, shift to the next zone, and restart the grand harvest. I keep grinding straight through to dawn, refusing to waste even a single second. Right on cue, A quiet chime rings inside my head to let me know my daily upgrade points have refreshed. I eagerly pull up the interface. My stats are solid. Strength 33, Constitution 15, Speed 40, Spirit 20. Talent-wise, I have Golden Insight, Zombie Aura, Super Hearing, Dual Physical Buffs, and Spatial Storage. Currently, I have 1 point, which trickles in daily. Killing value is over 7,500, ranking at mid-stage 1 star. Pretty much every skill, except my God-tier Golden Eye, now shows an upgrade prompt. The system breaks down the cost for me. Shifting from a white skill to yellow costs a single point. From there, it scales up. Yellow to blue is 2, blue to purple is 4, purple to red is 8, and red to gold is 16. Doing the math, taking a basic white talent all the way to gold takes 31 points. At my current rate, that is basically an entire month to max out one ability. Since I do not know any faster way to grind these points, I just have to be patient. I spend today's point, lifting my dimensional space from white straight to yellow. The storage pocket expands into a massive 10 cubic meter room, and a brand new set of detailed spatial rules unfolds in my mind. The biggest change here is how the space actually opens up, since I used to have to touch things physically. Now, absolutely anything sitting within a single meter of my body vanishes directly into the pocket dimension with zero physical contact. Don't sleep on this upgrade either, because this simple change allows for some absolutely insane tricks. In my past life, a shooter meant dodging. Now, I can place the spatial opening a meter ahead of my chest. Any bullet crossing that boundary gets instantly swallowed. After that, I just aim the exit portal right back at the shooter and watch his own ammo shred him. It is a pretty broken engine of return damage. If I had this trick in my past life, there is no way Jotay and his crew could have cornered me. Too bad it only stores inanimate objects. Throwing living people into that void would unlock a whole new level of terror. But hey, that is a problem for later. For now, the silent midnight purge rolls on. As I sweep through different districts, random survivors catch glimpses of my work. The local chat boards are absolutely exploding with rumors. They see endless hordes marching to their doom, led by a living human who does not show a single trace of infection. After lots of intense debate, one massive rumor starts spreading like wildfire. They are calling me the Zombie King with a human face, a terrifying boss who forces the dead into mass suicide. He eats human flesh, and his raw power is completely monstrous. People claim he literally punched a zombie head off its shoulders. If you see him, the warning says, run and hide. I read their panic and do absolutely nothing to stop it. Honestly, a terrifying reputation like that just makes my life easier. Truth is, I shattered that skull on purpose, right in the open. I wanted to trigger the perfect amount of fear. Looking at the screen, it is pretty clear that terror has settled in. No weird accidents occur, and absolutely no idiots try to solo the Zombie King. After all, everyone is just trying to survive day one. Why risk your life when you can just stay hidden? Besides, even if some random hero did kill me, then what? The entire city horde would immediately run wild the second their master died. Meanwhile, on a dim street far across town, dozens of aimless walkers wander around. The silence here is so complete that a simple soda can rolling down the street makes every single monster snap its head to give chase. Suddenly, a few faint muzzle flashes light up the pitch-black mouth of a nearby alleyway. With the quiet cough of silencers, dozens of walkers drop dead onto the pavement at once. 2 shiny reward cards hover in the air as 5 armed figures in full tactical gear step out. They are wearing night vision goggles, moving with extreme military precision, and using high-end police gear. It is the exact same stuff I took from the station. Clearly, this unit raided their own local precinct. Honestly, it makes sense, since a massive city like this has dozens of stations with enough firepower to arm multiple squads. Their leader signals with his hand, and his team spreads out to sweep the corpses, shooting any twitching targets before regrouping. One of his scouts reports that the path is clear, handing over 2 mysterious cards, a hot plate of spicy shredded chicken, and some bread. Joe Bin frowns, taking the items and pocketing them without even looking. He scans the pitch-black road, telling his crew to load up. They have 1 minute to prep and slaughter every zombie while the darkness keeps the monsters half blind. Exactly 60 seconds later, they move out. Here is where things get tense. They enter a pitch-black lane with completely dead lights, and Joe Bin suddenly freezes as a soft, chilling ringing echoes from the shops nearby. Looking down, his face darkens as he spots a thin fishing line stretched tightly across the pavement at his feet. Its ends are tied inside the shops, a deliberate, human-made tripwire. He raises his gaze, and just a meter past the trap, he notices something scattered all over the road in the dim light. He spots thumbtacks, rusted iron nails, and shattered glass covering the asphalt like a deadly carpet. It is clearly human work. Suddenly, a squadmate whispers that there are survivors lurking inside the shop at their 10 o'clock. Jo-bin peers through his night vision goggles, his pupils shrinking as he recognizes a very familiar, deadly shape in a stranger's hands. A gun. This group is loaded. He makes a split-second decision, ordering his squad to avoid sudden movements and retreat slowly. Since this is clearly another survivor group's territory, there is no point in starting a useless turf war. There is no reason to pick a fight. Inside the dark shop, 4 armed men crouch near the window, watching them leave. Every single one of them wears tactical body armor and grips a submachine gun similar to Jo-bin's crew. But the vibe is totally different. While Jo-bin's crew carries themselves like battle-hardened soldiers, these heavily armed punks look like a bunch of lazy, untrained thugs. A tall, mean-looking guy in a tactical vest spits on the ground, muttering that since the strangers reacted, they definitely are not zombies. He chuckles, saying Pockmark is easily the smartest of their crew. Setting up that clever little trap worked like a charm. The skinny man with the pitted face smiles. Pockmark gives a sheepish grin, replying that he only saw the trick on television and never expected it to actually work. Brother Han pats him on the back, saying their Azure Dragon Society always needs talent like him. But suddenly, booming dance music starts blasting through the streets, getting closer and closer by the second. A thug snaps, asking who is crazy enough to blast loud music in the dead of night. Another gasps, wondering if this could be the legendary Music Corps king everyone on the global chat channel has been talking about. Brother Han's eyes gleam with greed, and he orders them to lock and load. Their golden goose is walking straight to them, and whoever helps kill this corpse king gets 10,000 coins. The thugs cheer, thanking their mighty boss. Look at that, the truck rumbles forward, music blasting. A massive trail of flesh-eaters chases behind it, kept at bay only because the rig moves slow. But with that deafening volume, the monsters will never lose the scent. I am humming along behind the wheel, driving down the dark road, when 2 sudden explosions echo beneath me. Both front tires blow out instantly. The steering wheel jerks violently, and the truck swerves toward a storefront. I slam my foot on the brakes, stopping the heavy vehicle mere inches away from the glass window. I climb down, furious, as shattered glass and iron nails crunch loudly beneath my heavy boots. Looking down, the street is carpeted with traps. Both front tires are totally flat, bristling with dozens of sharp nails driven deep. What kind of coward did this? Littering a public street with sharp nails. Talk about zero decency. Seriously, have they no respect for the people who clean these streets? Now, about 100 meters away, up on the 10th floor of a building, Jo-bin's team has doubled back, hiding. They had not gone far before that blasting music reached them. Immediately thinking of the legendary Music Corps king, they quickly ducked into cover. Now they scan the street through their scopes. It is pitch black to the naked eye, but clear as day under night vision. Jo-bin turns to his sharp, reliable scout, Old Jang, asking if the person down there is really the Corpse King from the global chat. Old Jang calmly answers that anyone creating a massive racket like this definitely fits the profile. Hearing that, a muscular soldier on the squad loses his patience. He eagerly urges the captain to take the shot and eliminate the boss before the surrounding horde gets any closer. He insists that based on his years of video games, a high-level boss is bound to drop some epic loot. But Old Jang cuts him off immediately, strongly advising against it. He warns that according to all intel, the Corpse King possesses power far beyond any regular zombie. If their first sniper shot misses, the counterattack will be devastating, and someone in their squad is bound to get hurt. The heavy soldier snaps that he can easily snipe from a distance, but Old Jang reminds him his night sniping accuracy is barely 60%. In this dark, 60% is basically a suicide mission. Worse, that hostile, armed gang is positioned much closer to the target. The second a bullet is fired, there is a 90% chance they get pulled into a shootout with those thugs, and a 50% chance they take casualties, unless they plan to just surrender all the loot. Glaring, the soldier snaps that he asked the captain, not Old Jang, turning his gaze back to Jo-bin. Everyone holds their breath, wondering if they should take the shot. Jo-bin's face darkens, and he decides to wait and watch. Down on the street, I turn off the music, my eyes raking the darkness like a pair of glowing torches. My ears twitch, twice. My super hearing combs through the pitch black to find whoever did this. A split second later, I turn and lock onto a single shop front. It is exactly where Brother Han and his 4 men are hiding. The moment my eyes land on them, a furious roar erupts from inside. Kill him, shoot him down. There is 100,000 bounty on his head. Sparks fly in the pitch black shop as submachine gun fire rips through the night, coming straight for me. I stop in my tracks, my face turning cold. So they have guns and are spraying wildly, like they think I am some easy target. A rift in space opens right in front of me. As those bullets get within a meter of my chest, the space warps and swallows them whole. Gone. Just like that, they vanish, and honestly, in this dark, nobody even sees it happen. Up on the 10th floor, the muscular man mutters to himself, telling old Jang he knew it all along, less talk, more action. Those guys down there already made their move. Meanwhile, the Corpse King just stands there like a complete dolt, taking an impossible amount of bullets. He is already dreaming out loud about the kill value and whatever loot is going to drop. Shut up. Old Jang finally snaps at him to be quiet. Unable to understand why he constantly has to keep talking, he keeps his eyes glued below, while the muscular man cries foul over the harsh personal jab, demanding to know why he cannot speak, blaming old Jang for making him lose a golden chance, and then denying him any right to complain. Old Jang tells him to use his brain instead of his muscles for once, to open his eyes and see what is wrong with that Corpse King. The muscular man pouts, staring at the distant figure and muttering that he sees nothing off. It is standing there completely fine. Then, silence. His voice trails off as he realizes the Corpse King has absolutely no reaction to being shot. Normally, a body takes rounds and reacts on instinct, flinching and folding, staggering and tipping wherever a bullet hits. No living thing can suppress that reflex. Yet, this Corpse King just stands there. Even though the distance blurs the details, his posture is as clear as day. Worse yet, the muscular man swears he feels a strange ease radiating from that stance. Ease? To hell with that. It makes no sense. No one facing 100 bullets should look relaxed. Without even lifting his head, old Jang says he has been watching for a while. The wall behind the Corpse King has 0 bullet damage. He asks what that means, then answers his own question. The guy is using some kind of unknown power to make those bullets completely vanish. The muscular man balks, asking if old Jang seriously believes this Corpse King actually has superpowers, claiming those things are just make-believe. But old Jang grins and points out that the killing space and the zombies are already here. The attribute panels are real. Is a superpower really where we draw the line? Besides, has he never noticed the talent line on the status screen? That is exactly where a power like this would be listed. The muscular man falls dead silent, unable to argue because there is no counter-argument. Then, a chilling thought creeps up his spine. Could he have a power of his own too? Silence. The heavy gunfire runs for 10 seconds and then stops. Inside the shop, the 4 men empty their magazines and stare at me, completely frozen in my place. One asks Brother Han if the Corpse King is alive, and why it is still standing. Brother Han insists it is dead after taking that many rounds. Dozens of hits, easily. As for why it is still standing, who knows? Maybe it is just the corpse's final shred of pride. Then he orders one of his men to go out and check. The lackey balks, asking if he means him, and Brother Han snaps that of course he does. Who else? The terrified lackey reluctantly drags himself toward the front of the shop. The instant his foot steps outside, his head completely explodes, spraying blood all over the other 3. Their pupils shrink in terror. Before they can even wipe the blood away, a stream of golden bullets is already right in front of them. Watch this. They do not even have time to blink. The 3 are shredded like sieves in the blink of an eye, leaving 4 perfect outlines of bullet holes in the wall behind them. Their final thought, for all of them, is exactly the same. Where were the gunshots? Where did these bullets come from? And why do they look so familiar? Back on the street, my ears twitch. Sensing absolutely no more movement coming from inside the shop, I step forward. A minute later, I walk back out holding 3 cards, pretty sour about it. 3 cards is an absolutely miserable haul. Muttering to myself, I climb back into the truck and turn the music back on. Soon, a heavy clatter of footsteps echoes from the end of the street. A massive new wave of the undead, moving slow as always. Seeing them stumble in, I just step on the gas toward my original destination. Tires or no tires. Who cares if they are gone? I am driving this thing regardless. It was never my truck anyway. As long as it holds together until noon, it did its job. Right now, the zombies are trailing the music, swaying along right behind me. A few minutes after the last zombie finally clears out, Joe Bin and his team step back onto the street and enter the shop. The brutal slaughter inside leaves them sweating bullets, and nobody is shaking more than their biggest, most muscular guy. He keeps thanking his lucky stars that they talked him into staying behind, because otherwise, his own corpse would be cooling on that bloody floor right now. Shaking, he asks the captain what they should do next. Joe Bin tells them to take the opposite road, warning that the Zombie King is way too much for them and they need to stay far away. Meanwhile, my slaughter keeps going from pitch black until sunrise. I only stop with 30 minutes left in the space and not by choice. My giant machine just decided to go on strike. Staring at the massive red generator, belching out a burnt smell, I complain about this hyped imported monster. Turns out, home-built gear is the only thing you can actually trust. With barely any time left, searching for another hunting spot is pointless. So, I slide into a clean room to count my total loot. 19,600. Mostly because rounding up new hordes ate up precious time. Plus, my rising combat rating keeps slashing the points I get for each zombie I put down. Still, it is pretty good. Before, I could never even afford the ammo bill. Just dreaming of these numbers used to be a fantasy. But with a horde this massive, the cards still pile up beautifully, even if the drop rate started to fall off. 229 cards total, 152 from zombies, 3 from the guys who tried to kill me, and 74 paid in trade fees. Sure, the trading channel lets you list items for free, but it takes 1 point from the seller on every deal. They grab it from your balance, or if you are completely broke, they record it as a debt you must pay before leaving. Basically, 0 points means no trading at all. 74 points for 74 cards, each of which redeems for 100 points. That is about as perfect a return on a tiny investment as you can get. Holding 229 cards means leaving with over 20,000 points. This single run is easily worth almost 40,000. I absolutely cleaned up. The sheer pleasure of exploiting a massive info gap like this is honestly unmatched. I sit down happily, sorting through my huge pile of cards. But here is the cool part: my pocket dimension lets me smuggle out things others would have to leave behind. 15 minutes later, I have separated the exact cards I actually want: an amphibious motorcycle, a perpetual solar car, and 2 highly specialized chemicals. Just 4 cards, but each is nearly impossible to find in the real world. I summon them now and store them in my dimension, since these cards only turn physical inside this trial and never in reality. Materializing them right now so they are ready to go is the smartest move I can make, an option that only exists because of my latest pocket dimension upgrade. Previously, I could never have managed to smuggle out something as massive as a vehicle. Suddenly, everything blurs. The system announces my time is officially up, sending me back as the full 24 hours run out. Once the dizziness fades, I find myself standing in a blank white void. A row of glowing golden words hovers in front of me. They are small but easy to read. My score calculation has started. Just surviving gets you a base D rank. Slaying over 100 monsters boosts it to C rank. Over 1,000 gets B rank. Over 10,000 lands you an A rank. Owning over 100 item cards unlocks S rank. Taking out 2 mutated bosses above my own level finally pushes it to SS rank. The results are locked in SS rank. As that rating lands, the empty void explodes in gold, and a glowing curtain descends. It is not just happening for me, either, but inside the personal zone of every single survivor. A booming voice echoes in their ears, offering congratulations to the incredible player who achieved an SS rank, declaring that the requirements to unlock the global leaderboard are officially met, and that the ranking board is finally active. A massive gold scroll unfurls from the light, and 3 huge words shine right at the top. Rating leaderboard. First place is Yuan at SS rank. Second is Wang with a C rank. And fourth is also Wang with a C rank. Fourth goes to Joe Crank. Fourth is Jojo Kank. Fourth is Jojo Kank. And another fourth is Jojo Kank. And fourth, another man named Joe Crank. The second the rankings show up, every chat room explodes. A massive wave of angry players starts screaming cheat at the top name. Rookies are begging the top guys for secrets on hitting a C rank. Meanwhile, smart players are already busy analyzing the kill numbers and reward tiers from leaked data. No matter what rank they got, absolutely everyone has to flex their score. My own SS rank reward shows up all attributes increased by 6, 15 free points, and 1,500 killing value. This is miles ahead of anything those smart guys in chat are dreaming of. Knowing the future gives me a ridiculously unfair advantage. Nobody ever reached SS rank in my past life. Back then, S rank was the absolute ceiling. Anything higher was just a rumor. Those S rank rewards were always shrouded in mystery. Supposedly massive, but nothing more. Now, I pry the truth loose. In my past life, an A rank clear gave 44 points to every stat and 400 kill points, basically 20 free points once you set that aside. But my SS rank rating brings in 39. That is a massive 19-point leap. No wonder those S rank monsters in my past life grew powerful so incredibly fast. Now, I finally see why. Next, the system takes my 225 leftover cards, converting them into 22,500 kill points, putting my balance at 43,600. Right after, the kill mall officially unlocks for any survivor holding over 100 points. And right there, check this out, a massive golden interface blooms right in front of my eyes. Skills, gear, stats, healing, and special items all packed. But in this decaying zombie world, do not expect high fantasy magic items. The shop always matches the environment, meaning you only get gear that fits your current zone. I skip the gear and head straight for stats. Items can break, but raw physical power is your true foundation. The layout is dead simple. Just 4 basic options: strength, health, speed, or soul. Each 10-point upgrade costs 100. I buy them all instantly for 400. I still remember staring at this shop in my past life, flat broke, desperately agonizing over the one stat I could afford. Back then, wasting points absolutely terrified me. Now, sweeping the entire rack barely even dents my massive pile. Suddenly, the shop refreshes, and those same 4 stats now cost 1,000 each. A 10-fold price hike for repeating buys, resetting only when the next zone closes. I am not surprised. I buy them again for 4,000, and the price jumps to 10,000 each. This time I pause. Since my strength and speed are already pretty high, I only grab health and soul to keep my stats balanced. That is another 20,000 spent. And then, the next refresh hits 100,000. I stop there. Suddenly, power surges and my body transforms. My strength hits 59, my health is 51, speed 66, and soul 56. My golden eye of insight, zombie aura, super hearing, physical boosts, and dimensional space are all active. Upgrade points, 0. Kill points, 19,200. I still have 15 free attributes saved. My combat rating is early stage 2-star, and my speed stat of 66 is exactly what pushes me over the edge. In my past life, I remember the very first 2-star combatant did not even show up until after the 3rd or maybe even the 4th space. Yet here I am, hitting that legendary tier right after clearing the very first one. Who else in this entire apocalypse can boast that? I am holding on to those 15 free attributes for now, since my current strength is already plenty. I would much rather save them for a life or death crisis where I can dump points to save myself on the spot. Just remember how that fast zombie cornered me. Dropping 15 points into speed right then would have saved me from a fight that almost cost my life. Now, here's where things get real because the next wave brings out the actual, legendary zombies. These monsters are born from pure malice and corruption. They are immortal, unbreakable, and do not belong to the 3 domains of heaven, earth, or man. Completely cast out even from the 6 paths of reincarnation. They are categorized from white, black, hopping, and flying zombies, all the way to drought demons. The rare variants have even stranger powers. Think copper skin, iron bones, drawing blood from a distance, and not fearing sunlight at all. But those are the legendary ones from myths. Most of what this zone throws at us will be basic black zombies. Glutinous rice, rooster's blood, and black dog's blood all work against them. But that is only enough to keep you alive. None of those things can actually kill them. I need real weapons from this shop. First, a heavy-duty blade. A traditional peachwood sword works well enough, but it is definitely not my best option. In my past life, researchers proved which weapons are most effective against these beasts. The laser combat blade sits right at the top, available in 3 tiers. The standard version reaches 600 degrees but requires an energy pearl to run, costing 500 kill points. The solar rechargeable model hits 800 degrees for 3,000, and the infinite energy version reaches 1,000 degrees for 5,000. At that heat, even copper skin and iron bones slice like soft tofu. It is the ultimate anti-zombie weapon ever created. This is miles better than a peachwood sword, which is completely useless against anything other than zombies. A laser blade cuts through literally everything unless it is a ghost. The standard 500-point model looks like a steal, but that is a complete trap. A single energy pearl costs 100 points and only lasts 10 minutes before dying. It is a money pit that will bleed you dry. It works for a quick fight, but using it daily is a death sentence if it dies mid-battle. I grab the Infinite Edition without a second thought. Spending 5,000 killing value drops my balance to 14,200 as a neat hilt settles into my palm. A small button instantly shoots the blade out, and holding it for 5 seconds retracts it. Now that I am armed, the next monster wave is as good as done. But what is the point of points if you die hoarding them? So for the next 3 minutes, I go on a massive spending spree to empty my account. First, a custom Desert Eagle with endless armor-piercing rounds for 5,000. Next, a modified personal Vulcan Gatling firing 6,000 rounds a minute for another 5,000, plus master-level firearm mastery for 2,000. Throw in Master Blade Mastery for 2,000, and 2 10 milliliter vials of upgraded 3-flower light blood. Finally, some concentrated blood essence to drop in water, and lure every creature within a 10-mile radius for just 200. I have got ranged attacks, area of effect damage, top-tier mastery for both, and the perfect bait to drag zombies right to me. My setup is practically complete. Skills here have 5 tiers: low, mid, high, master, and perfect, costing up to 5,000 points. Honestly, master level is plenty. With my points completely drained, I see no reason to hang around and leave the settlement space behind. Just like that, I am back in my own room, looking out the window at the late-night moon hanging high in the sky. It is the second morning already, meaning a whole day has passed. Those cracked stones and empty energy pearls are still sitting on my table. The only difference is the insane, limitless power surging inside me. My immediate priority is getting some hot skewers, because eating dry bread during a non-stop slaughterhouse run left me dying for real flavor. At that exact moment, endless survivors are flooding back into reality. Within just 10 minutes, they take over the internet. Forums, boards, and video apps get completely buried under a massive wave of first-hand horror stories. The fast-acting ones are already streaming live, watching their follower counts explode like crazy. This massive wave of returning players is completely rewriting everything the world thought it knew about this terrifying survival game. Tonight is bound to be completely sleepless, and absolutely everyone is glued to their screens. Over at a secure military base, a man stands at the podium delivering a highly classified briefing, and that man is Joe Bin. As he wraps up his intelligence report on the killing space, an incredibly heavy silence falls over the entire room. Finally, the sharp-jawed commander at the head of the table nods and tells him, "Good job. Now walk us through the ratings and rewards." Joe Bin steadies himself and explains that from what they can gather, better ratings mean better rewards, and your rating depends on kills. During their mission, his squad put down over 900 zombies, and through controlled testing, he personally took out more than 600, while his 4 teammates bagged 50 to 150 each. Joe Bin scored a C rank, placing 4th on the leaderboard, while the other 4 got 3 Cs and a D. None of his squad made the board, and Joe Bin's prize was +2 to all attributes, 2 free points, and 200 killing value. Next, he presents their theories, pieced together from chat channels and processed through big data systems. Ratings definitely run from D to SS, with a 90% chance a SS tier exists above them. D rank only requires you to survive, no kills needed, giving +1 to all stats, 1 free point, and 100 killing value. C rank kicks in once you personally slay 100 zombies. While D and C ranks are verified facts, everything else is just speculative calculations for now. There is an 86% chance B rank demands 1,000 solo kills, and a 92% chance it grants +3 to stats, 3 free points, and 300 points. A rank scales up the exact same way. While S and SS are complete mysteries, Joe Bin notes that he spent his own points on constitution and speed. Both stats are now double those of an ordinary human, with no side effects, and the rest of his points went into one specific item. He places a heavy briefcase on the table, opening it up to reveal a single glowing vial resting inside. Joe Bin explains it is an awakening potion, costing 300 points in the store, and drinking it unlocks your own unique superpower. He bought 2 of these, drank one, and unlocked the power to command pure lightning. He flips his palm upward, and several crackling bolts surge forward, gathering into a slow-spinning orb of brilliant, beautiful, and dangerous blue lightning. It is absolutely dripping with menace. The high-ranking officials stare at the blue sphere, showing zero surprise, only a heavy, sinking worry. Think about it, if superpowers like this ever get out of control, the country's entire social order could shatter instantly. The emergency meeting drags on until dawn, with their final analysis immediately getting passed up the chain of command. Within 10 minutes, the report sits directly before the Supreme Leader. Just 30 minutes later, a highly specialized department called the 816 Bureau is officially established, named after today's date, the 16th of August, with Joe Bin appointed as its new director. Their mission is simple: hunt down and recruit any new talents emerging from the space, while quickly crushing any chaos these newly awakened evolvers try to stir up across the country. The moment Joe Bin takes charge, his very first move is running every single survivor through military big data. Think about it, every text, every call, or random social media post leaves a digital footprint that their high-tech screening system will absolutely catch. That is the catch with living in the information age. It connects you, but quietly steals your privacy. The next morning, the entire country is buzzing. On every social media platform, the top 30 trending topics are purely about the killing space. Nothing else even comes close, and no wonder, since the lucky few who actually awaken powers are showing them off absolutely everywhere. Some guy is literally grilling chicken wings with fire shot from his bare hands, while another conjures ice out of thin air for his morning coffee. Get this, one guy literally sprouted a massive pair of wings just to fly around delivering takeout orders. Then you have the genius who tried to rob a bank by tunneling underground. He was way too sloppy though, and ended up popping right up inside a nearby police station. The look on his face when he crawled out to a room full of armed officers? He knew he was utterly done for, but despite the idiots, these powers have set everyone's blood on fire. Now, the whole world is desperately hungry for the next descent, praying they get chosen. At home, I just sit back, watching the news. As for my old job, the second day after getting back, I straight up fired my boss. I mean, we are entering a whole new era, so who has time to clock in anymore? No paycheck can ever compare to raw power. Sure, I could march right into the military and get treated like royalty, but honestly, I have absolutely no interest in dealing with them right now. See, the military is not exactly a united front. Quite a few of their top officers wear the uniform, but their actual loyalty lies with some other shadow master. Until I am powerful enough to guarantee my own safety, I have zero interest in showing off my skills to the world. Feeling bored, I flip the channel. On screen, a stunning reporter is doing a live street interview about the one hot topic on everyone's minds. She asks a random guy if he would dare enter the killing space if given the opportunity. The guy says flat out no. She presses him, asking why not does he not want awesome powers, or the chance to be a real superhero. He shrugs and says it is a great opportunity, sure, but people literally die. He already has money and status, so why take the gamble? Besides, a pair of wings does not make you a superhero if you are still flying around delivering takeout. He laughs that there are no monsters in this world, only money which rules everything, and he has plenty of it. I just watch him with pretty cold eyes. Seriously, who told this guy there are no monsters? Because if my calculations are right, things are about to get really ugly. I whip out my phone to search, and sure enough, there it is, breaking news. A mysterious poisonous mist has rolled across several provinces, knocking countless people unconscious. Though thankfully, nobody has died yet. This strange mist is holding stubbornly, and witnesses are swearing they can actually see creepy human figures moving deep inside it. Local authorities are still frantically searching for the source. The official warning tells everyone to avoid these sealed-off mist zones and keep a safe distance until everything completely clears up. Every single report points to the same chilling reality: our world is starting to tear at the seams. Regular people just read this as some weird headline, but I read it as the first wave of monsters descending. Our world is no longer safe, and the beasts born inside that brutal killing space are about to invade us, one by one. This toxic mist is literally the herald of the incoming zombie horde. In my past life, research proved this mist is a byproduct of the instability between the two spaces. Once the two dimensions finally stabilize, the heavy mist will thin out, and that is exactly when the zombies start walking. As for how long it lingers, this mist holds until the second space descent ends, and the next wave of mist will last until the third round finishes. It is a vicious cycle. More monsters will bleed into our reality every single round, constantly shrinking what little safe ground humanity has left. But there is a hidden gift in this descent: danger and incredible opportunity, delivered in the exact same hand. Slaying a monster out here gives zero killing value and drops no survival cards, but it can actually yield something else: an evolution crystal. This is a six-sided redstone that forms inside the skulls of certain monsters, containing raw evolutionary energy that humans can absorb to boost attributes and awaken new abilities. The real catch? These crystals drop quite rarely and absorb pretty poorly, so evolving this way absolutely crawls compared to the killing space. Surviving just one round gives you a baseline reward of 2 attribute points, not counting what killing value can buy. Those 2 points equal absorbing 20 crystals. For zombies, that means slaying roughly 200. My 39 points would take 390 crystals, nearly 40,000 zombie kills. On top of that, the human body caps how many crystals you can digest daily, only 10 to 20 for a normal constitution. So even chasing 39 points would easily eat up half a month. Sure, your daily limit rises as you grow stronger, but it is never fast enough to rival entering the killing space. In my past life, those never chosen had only this slow road to survive. Even the guys who struggled inside the space started hunting in the real world to level up. After all, even the tiniest catch is still free experience. Honestly, if I got the chance, I would do the exact same thing. But I wouldn't waste my time on normal zombies. I want the mutated ones. 10 days sounds like a long time, but it honestly flies by in a flash. Once all my prep work is finished, I just wait quietly for the next round. I even leave all the upgrade points I saved up completely untouched, holding on to them until the perfect moment strikes. The second I get in and the clock hits 0, glowing gold text pops up right in front of me. It announces the opening of the second killing space and asks if I am ready to step inside. Veterans like me get a direct choice, and we do not even count toward the 100,000 player limit since that is only for the brand new rookies. That means way more than 100,000 players are flooding in. The competition is only going to get tougher. But my mind was made up long ago. I plunge into the gold flash. Welcome to the killing space. The system rules scroll by. Survival is the only goal, and this time, the space stays open for 2 whole days. The monsters land in 5 minutes. The countdown timer is already ticking down from 5 minutes. The setup is exactly the same, but the survival time doubled to 2 days while my prep time got cut in half. Just 5 minutes of grace now. The difficulty spikes hard with every single round. If you enter early, the rewards are insane, but the danger is absolutely brutal. I slide past the notifications. In the pitch-black darkness, a bright beam of light suddenly cuts through. I click on a heavy-duty flashlight and start scanning the empty room. The room spans roughly 100 square meters. One wall is packed with dusty, cobweb-covered memorial tablets that look decades old. Right in the middle sits a creepy, ancient coffin. Its heavy lid is shut tight, surrounded by paper effigies. I stare at it for a second, step up close, and slam my palm against the heavy lid to slide it wide open. Under the beam, a pale, lifeless face stares back. It is a corpse, but it hasn't turned yet. That pretty much confirms our main enemies are going to be zombies. I sweep the area one last time. Finding nothing but that single coffin, I decide to head out the door. Outside, a weed-choked courtyard appears under the dim moonlight. The main gate is completely missing, leaving the place wide open. I shine my light past the overgrown yard, aiming it through an archway that opens up into a thick, dark mountain forest. I walk out of the yard, and as I turn around to look at the entrance, I spot a rotting wooden plaque hanging crookedly above. 4 faded characters stare right back at me, Yuan Ancestral Hall. Yep, that is my own surname. My mouth twitches, but I force myself not to sigh out loud. Massive, ancient trees block out the sky, with only a narrow, winding dirt path leading deeper into the shadows of the woods. Everything is completely silent. A thick mist rolls through the trees, giving the forest a really creepy, dangerous vibe. I sweep my light around, mapping out the area. It is just an isolated clan hall lost in the middle of these wild, rugged mountains. The coffin inside was probably left here by some local villagers. Now, with over 4 minutes past, there is still zero sign of any living person. I head back inside the hall just as the timer runs out. Staring at the silent coffin, I flick my wrist, summoning a black hilt into my grip. A second later, a brilliant red laser blade ignites. A sci-fi laser sword. Just as it powers up, glowing lines of text appear in the air. The system warns me that the monsters are arriving, giving me my first daily quest. I must defend the Yuan Ancestral Hall and survive here until dawn. So, the actual missions have started. The first arena had none, which was just a beginner mercy. But starting from the second round, the system throws a mandatory quest at you every day. And they are never the same. Every player gets a unique task. Some have to hunt, others must reach a target zone or find items. Winning boosts your final score. Failing means your rank and rewards take a massive hit. My objective is to hold out until morning, which should be about 6 to 8 hours away. It has been too long for me to remember the exact time, but it doesn't matter. I am strong enough to hold out for 10. And right on cue, boom! The quiet is shattered as the coffin lid gets blasted clean off the top. A shadow snaps straight up, completely ignoring how human joints are supposed to bend. The monster is finally here. A golden glow flashes in my eyes. I activate my Eye of Insight skill, aiming it directly at the creature emerging from the open casket. The system tags it as a basic zombie. Its combat rating is 1-star initial stage, and it has 4 stealable traits. Zombie body is white tier, bloodthirsty recovery is blue, while blood tracking and olfactory perception are both yellow. It is literally a legendary creature to me, preloaded with a goldmine of clean traits to steal. My eyes light up. The beast roars, letting out a deep, gravelly growl. Thick gray mist drifts slowly from its nostrils. Honestly, for just a split second, the thing actually looks pretty intimidating. A classic nightmare crawling straight out of the grave. But then, a flash of red light cuts cleanly right across its waist. Its dramatic rising from the grave routine comes to a sudden halt as its top half slowly slides right off the bottom. I flick my laser blade clean, muttering under my breath that the poor guy really needs to learn some basic manners, screaming its lungs out in the dead of night and shattering the peace. The system prompt confirms the kill, granting me a single killing value along with a massive wall of unlocks. The public platform, the chat channel, and even the trading floor, every single permission resets itself, just like it does when a new space opens. 1 killing value. I sigh because a normal zombie usually pays out 2, while mine was heavily discounted just because it was a 2-star beast. But I am not going to dwell on it. Let's be real, who actually complains about being too strong? If the payout drops, I will just hunt more. Besides, killing value is not my only path to power. I still have my traits. I turn toward the floating light orbs gathered right beside the fresh corpse. The zombie's traits are ripe for the taking. I rub my hands together and reach in, claiming bloodthirsty recovery at blue, along with blood tracking at yellow and alactory perception at yellow. Bloodthirsty recovery triples my normal healing and multiplies it tenfold once I swallow some blood. Blood tracking allows me to follow any living creature by its scent. Alactory perception allows me to sense living survivors by smell and read their exact movements. The only trait I leave behind is zombie body, though I hesitate before letting it go. It has a monstrous growth ceiling. True, but the drawbacks are awful. Constant restrictions, and worst of all, it completely ruins your face. If this were a legendary undead lord trait, the kind that preserves a human face and leads to true immortality, I might have swallowed my pride, taken it, upgraded it, and walked in daylight forever. But this cheap, rotting version? Even a dog would pass. The 3 chosen traits settle into my soul at once. A sudden flush of heat is followed by an itch inside my nose. Instantly, the knowledge of how to use them pours into my mind. I glance at my attribute list out of habit, finding the 4 numbers completely unchanged. Maybe these traits add no raw stats, or my current attributes are simply too high to nudge. Either way, alactory perception is the skill that catches me off guard. Once locked onto a target, my mind constructs a detailed model. Even with my eyes closed, I know exactly where they are standing and moving. Genuinely uncanny, but the flaw is incredibly obvious. It only works on things that breathe. If a target holds their breath, they vanish from my radar, the same trick survivors use to let mindless zombies shuffle right past them. But upgraded? You have to admit, having a literal tracking radar active inside your own head is a terrifyingly awesome thought for a hunter. Time to find out. I spend 2 upgrade points to raise alactory perception from yellow to blue, dropping me from 10 points to 9 after the midnight refresh. Instantly, the skill description rewrites itself. Where it once read presence, it now reads vitality. Now, a target can hold their breath until they burst, and I will still feel them. Plus, with the range boosted, absolutely nothing alive within 10 meters can slip past me. Looking at my attribute panel, strength is 59, constitution 51, speed is 66, and spirit is 56. My talents include the golden eye of insight, along with zombie aura, super hearing, power enhancement, and speed enhancement at yellow, dimensional space at yellow, alactory perception now upgraded to blue, and bloodthirsty recovery at blue, and blood tracking at yellow. I have 9 upgrade points banked, 1 daily refresh, and a lone killing value. With 15 free attributes, my combat rating sits at 2-star initial stage. 5 minutes later, I am sitting outside, incredibly bored. Being saddled with this guard mission is absolutely ruining my kill rate. I cannot leave the U clan ancestral hall, so I am stuck staring at the entrance archway like it owes me targets to murder. Opening the chat channel reveals a thin trickle of messages. A few survivors are begging to trade for glutinous rice, black dog blood, and rooster blood. One poor guy, whose entire quest is finding toilet paper in the wilderness, asks if a traded roll would actually count. Another is locked in prison, staring at 2 old rifles on the wall with no key and no hammer, offering cards for a rescue. Someone actually offers to go. Someone else laughs, saying the rescuer only wants the guns, while a veteran reminds them that regular guns barely scratch a zombie unless you shoot them directly through the eye or the mouth. I sigh at the quiet chat, showing how few players can actually slay monsters. Zombies have 100 weaknesses, but without the right gear, slaying one is almost impossible. Most survivors who cross paths with a zombie can do nothing but run and pray they survive. Still, the clever guys in that thread are onto a massive shortcut, trading for help instead of fighting directly. The guy hunting toilet paper just needs a traded roll to trigger a completed mission. These simple fetch quests are truly the easiest of them all. You see, the real secret weapon for survivors in here is their ability to chat and trade across different spaces whenever they want. Play this loop right, and you can farm a massive amount of killing value without lifting a finger. And that is exactly what I plan to do. I start pulling items out of my dimensional space one by one. Glutinous rice, rooster blood, boy's urine, and black dog's blood. Next come melon seeds, drinks, mineral water, bread, and even peachwood swords. I list every single item on the trading floor for barter. Only cards accepted here. They are a different route to farming killing value. Get enough of them, and you can live easy without ever bloodying your hands. That was a hard lesson I learned from the last space, which is why I packed my inventory to bursting before stepping in this time. Everything I did was for this very moment. No wonder people call dimensional storage a god-tier cheat in this place. The second my items go live, I close the screen. I am not worried about finding buyers at all. With all these panicked newcomers flooding in, someone is bound to bite. Even the smart veterans, who know the exact value of a card, will happily trade for glutinous rice when they are cornered. One person wants to sell, another needs to buy. Now check this out, my ears twitch, and I stand up with a massive grin. Right on cue, two stiff, creepy figures come hopping toward the front gate. My eye of insight shows they are just basic zombies. Honestly, my interest dies on the spot. Waiting 10 minutes for only 2 kills is a complete joke. At the gate, they sniff the air, lock onto me, and lunge forward with a low growl. I cannot be bothered to waste time. A crimson light flashes in my hand as I stomp the ground, instantly vanishing from sight. My blade flashes just once. Both monsters freeze in mid-air right before a dark seam splits across their bodies. They crash down in 4 smoking, charred halves. I flash back to my chair, sitting down to wait once more. Kill, wait, repeat. An hour later, I have this defense mission completely figured out. If you leave the zombies alone, no new ones will spawn. But if you kill one, the next wave arrives 10 minutes later, always with 1 extra monster than the last time. The system designed this to scale slowly so normal survivors can just trap them. Do not attack, wait out the night, and the trial clears itself. That is fine for the weak. But me? I am not here to hide. I came to slaughter my way through the entire night. The faster I clear them, the more I draw in. Yet, it still feels agonizingly slow because that 10-minute gap is pure torture. So, I decide to get a little reckless. A small crimson vial appears in my palm, 3-flower light blood. An upgraded formula made of pure blood essence. Once mixed with water, it will drag every flesh eater within 10 miles straight to my door. I set out a basin, fill it, and empty the vial. Instantly, a heavy stench of blood rises into the cold air, rolling outward from my little courtyard in every single direction. I lean back in my chair, staring at the gate. This is going to be good. In a nearby clearing, once carefully tended by human hands, ancient headstones lean in the dark, a graveyard. As the blood stench washes over the graves, the dirt begins to churn. 2 hairy black hands punch right up through the soil, then another, then 100 more, heads and shoulders breaking free. The ghouls claw out of the dirt, hopping in unison toward the ancestral hall. Deep inside a damp, pitch-black cave, a heavy coffin rests with a single strip of yellow talisman paper sealed across it. Dim gold light flickers on the symbols, definitely not just decoration. As the blood smell seeps through the wooden seams, the coffin itself begins to greedily drink it in. It inhales the crimson mist until the draw suddenly cuts off a minute later. Then, the entire wooden box begins to violently shake. The talisman flashes with gold light, straining desperately to hold the lid down. But it fails. The rattling intensifies until the wood splits, exploding into a shower of sharp splinters. Standing amidst the wreckage is an armored zombie. Its face looks completely dissolved by acid, the pale skin thick with hair, and 2 glowing green eyes that stare right into your soul. This thing is leagues above any ordinary zombie. Sniffing the air, it inhales the heavy blood scent. The dull green of its eyes flares with sudden hunger, and it launches out of the dark cave like a cannonball. Of course, I do not know any of this yet. Having just slaughtered another wave of 7, I glance from the front gate to the basin of bloody water and frown. More than 10 minutes have slowly crawled by without any extra zombies showing up. Surely a wild burial ground cannot be this empty. The scent from one vial only lasts an hour before fading, and I would hate to see it go to waste. Finally, the next wave drops its loot. Still no massive hoard, but I secure 3 cards. Time to see what we got. Usually, it is nothing but trash. But when the real loot finally drops, it drops big. I slaughtered a mountain of zombies earlier without seeing a single card, almost believing my luck had completely run out. Turns out, the real jackpot was waiting in this wave all along. 10 pounds of premium glutinous rice, half a liter of boy's urine, half a liter of fresh water, and 2 anti-zombie charms. And another one for just surviving. I pocket all 3 without a second thought because using them is a waste when I could trade them for killing value instead. But then, a chaotic rustle of feet echoes nearby. I freeze in my tracks as my eyes light up. They are finally here. I dart right to the gate, snap my flashlight on, and sweep the beam across the small woods. The sight actually makes me catch my breath because the trees are completely packed with hundreds of hopping silhouettes. The undead are here. I never dreamed my bait would work this incredibly well. Simple technology, rougher tactics, and with my dimensional space feeding them, this combination is seriously no joke. For literally anyone else, facing hundreds of zombies at once would easily shred a 2-star survivor to pieces if it did not just kill them instantly. These monsters definitely do not play fair. We are talking a brutal, one-sided gang beating. Plus, there is lethal virus waiting on every single scratch. But for me, this is absolutely nothing. I do not fear a massive crowd of mindless monsters. My only actual fear is them not showing up. Every worry I have ever had comes from lacking enough firepower, but destructive power is the one thing I am never lacking. Instantly, a massive, gleaming black beast of a gun settles into my grip, my magically upgraded Vulcan Gatling directly from the dimensional space. It fires 6,000 armor-piercing rounds a minute with a bottomless magazine. Time to finally test this beauty. I feel a sudden surge of excitement, but I hold my fire. Instead, I retreat back into the ancestral hall and block the main doorway. Those item cards the monsters drop are my primary income, and honestly, I am pretty boxed in here anyway. So, I absolutely need to eliminate them inside this courtyard to easily collect the loot. Luckily, this hall is a perfect fort with solid walls and 0 windows. Just one gate. If I hold this spot, nothing can touch me from any other angle. Plus, the roof sits 5 or 6 meters high, so unless these things suddenly sprout wings, there is absolutely nothing to worry about. If I tear through them fast enough, they cannot pile up. I summon a heavy stone table from my inventory, mount the Gatling right on top, throw down a chair, and take a seat. I only even have this table because I kept stuffing my expanded pocket dimension full just for the satisfying feeling of keeping it packed. Originally, I planned to use it as an emergency shield, or just drop it on an enemy's head. Turns out, it makes a perfect weapon mount. Easy, I mutter, waiting quietly. The mindless horde is in no rush at all. After a long moment, they finally start bouncing in through the main gate, looking as happy as ever. Once they cross the halfway mark of the yard, I pull the trigger with pure joy. Look at this beautiful metal storm. Blinding streams of armor-piercing fire hammer directly into the packed crowd. They instantly freeze in place before falling in massive rows like harvested wheat. These dead guys never quite realized they showed up to play dirty, only to run into a guy who cheats on a completely different level. The front row got it worst of all. Torn to absolute shreds, their rotting flesh churned to mush, and heads blown completely off. 6,000 rounds per minute. And I hold it down for 2 whole minutes. I spray over 10,000 bullets before letting go. Absolutely nothing is left standing in the yard. Plus, a whole section of the outer wall is completely gone. Vaporized completely by my own heavy barrage. The monsters that could not even push inside now lie dead right outside the entrance. Further away, I can barely make out even more of them slowly approaching, but they will take a while. I grab my energy blade and charge out to greet them. Slice, grab cards, slice, grab cards. The entire motion is incredibly smooth, as if I had practiced it 10,000 times, clearing the area in 20-some seconds. 8 different cards of every single type. An excellent haul. Naturally, I slide right back into the same loop. Slay the undead, clean the area, rinse and repeat. I never get tired of this routine because it is incredibly easy, fast, and pays wonderfully. So why on earth would I not be thrilled? Of course, this strategy only works because of the infinite Gatling gun currently in my hands. Literally, any normal weapon would have left me completely helpless ages ago. This is the sweet reward of knowing exactly what lies ahead. I finish scooping up another massive stack of loot cards and turn back toward my heavy weapon when a sharp, whistling sound slices past my ear. I plant my foot, throw my body wildly to the side, raise my energy sword to block, and finally look up. A massive, towering zombie clad in heavy bronze armor stands exactly where I was. But instead of panicking, I actually grin. Honestly, this massive build and crazy aura are exactly what I wanted. Time to scan its stats. It is a mutated zombie with a 2-star early-stage combat rating, possessing a yellow-tier zombie body, copper skin, yellow-tier iron bones, blue-tier bloodthirsty recovery, yellow blood tracking, and yellow-tier smell. Basically, this brute is a walking tank with copper skin and iron bones on its stat sheet. I absolutely love it. Since its surprise attack failed and I easily dodged, the mutated beast barely looks at me before heading toward the hall, lured by the thick smell of blood inside, starving for that raw energy. It probably assumes the tasty snack that just escaped can wait for later, but 2 steps in, its vision blurs as that very same snack blocks the door. Standing comfortably behind my Gatling gun, I ask the giant monster if he is ready to die. Taking that as a direct challenge, the beast charges its massive legs and practically flies through the air at me. But a wall of solid lead answers. An unavoidable web of endless bullets tears into its flesh. Its legendary copper skin and hardened iron bones are shredded instantly like wet, fragile paper. Before the monster can even realize what is happening, dozens of glowing heavy rounds blast straight into its eyes, exploding its skull as the limp corpse drops like a wet rag. Finally, the system prompt pops up a sweet 200 killing value. Equal tier kills pay off. I grab the shed orb and claim the yellow tier copper skin iron bones, making my body completely immune to common blades and guns. A warm current floods my veins. My bones prickle and my skin tightens, then fades just as fast. My constitution stat doesn't even budge, but I can feel the physical upgrade deep in my bones. To test it, I draw a normal dagger right across my forearm, but the blade just glides off my skin like it's rubbing against solid metal, leaving not even a white scratch. When I really press down, a tiny red mark finally appears. I smile. With a defense like this, normal zombies can't even open me up. You see that? This run basically makes me untouchable. So let's keep stacking that killing value. The system notifies me that the main quest to defend the Ancestral Hall is complete. 100 killing value awarded. Dawn is finally breaking. As the clear screen glows before my eyes, the mountains of zombie corpses scattered across the hall begin crumbling into a dark mist, dissolving into thin air under the morning sun, leaving behind a courtyard that looks like an absolute war zone. I holster my heavy weapon and count the loot: 38 cards and 4,800 killing value. Slaughtering 4,000 zombies in a single night is actually pretty average, mostly because the spawns started slowing down. The entire neighborhood is wiped out, probably because I pulled them all here. With the quest done, there is no reason to stay, so I head out. As sun climbs and the dark retreats, the remaining undead crawl back into shadows to lie dormant. This brief daytime window is the only chance survivors have to go hunting for food, gear, or other living souls. Walking through the woods, I quickly slice up a snake pretending to be a tree branch. But this brutal apocalypse isn't just full of mutated monsters. There's still lots of regular, dumb wildlife around that's way weaker than the monsters. They're so weak they don't even grant any killing value. Yet for an average survivor, one venomous bite is still a fast ticket to the grave. Unless, of course, you're me. I walk a bit further before pausing as the tall grass ahead suddenly thrashes and a panicked rabbit bolts straight out into the open, freezing up, terrified at the sight of a human, then dashes past me like crazy. And that is just the start. Suddenly, the bushes explode as squirrels, mice, and rabbits come pouring out in a massive wave. Every single animal completely ignores me, sprinting for their lives in the opposite direction. Suddenly, a massive wild boar bursts from the thicket, charging forward in absolute panic. When I step aside, it flies past without even looking back, barreling straight through the dense brush and vanishing in a blink. My expression instantly darkens. I leap upward, scaling a massive tree nearby in just a few quick bounds to get above the canopy. I look out and there it is. Just look at that thick black smoke is boiling into the sky, lit up by a crimson glow. Some absolute idiot just set this entire mountain on fire. There is no way this is a natural fire. This is zombie territory, after all. The yin energy is so dense that the trees are practically soaked in it. Wood like that doesn't just catch fire, and no random lightning strike could cause this massive ablaze. I mutter to myself about how brainless you have to be to start a forest fire during the day when the undead are all hidden underground. To make matters worse, once night falls and the monsters emerge, a burned, barren slope will leave survivors with absolutely nowhere to hide. Looking at the global chat channel, that exact same rage is already exploding. Terrified players are screaming, demanding to know who set the fire while they're still trapped on the mountain. One poor guy survived the night in a tree only to descend straight into a wall of flames. Another woke up inside a hollow trunk only to find his pants literally catching fire. Across the chat, a single directive takes hold: everyone needs to head toward the fire, where there's a village. Some voices point fingers, accusing the loudest whiners of being the actual arsonists trying to play victim. But whether they are lying or not, everyone is migrating toward the blaze, since other humans and relative safety are in that direction. After all, trying to outrun an active wildfire forever is a losing game. Near the tree line, two guys stand watching the smoke climb. A guy with a pockmarked face anxiously speaks to his partner, calling him Brother Donkey and worrying they might roast the very survivors they want to capture. The long-faced man simply shrugs, saying, "Anyone who can't outrun a basic fire like this doesn't deserve to live anyway." With a smoke signal this huge, everyone is bound to herd right into our trap. He tells Pockmark their job here is done. It is time to head back toward the village and regroup with Brother Joan as planned. I stand on my branch, watching the rising flames as an old memory suddenly flickers into my mind. A village fire. This has to be the infamous Dung Dong village. If I remember right, this zone has 9 separate villages, divided by massive mountain ranges. In my past life, One of those 9 places was legendary for a horrific reason. Dungdong Village became infamous for a brutal massacre that wiped everyone out, and the cause was exactly this fire. Someone torched the surrounding forest. No cover, no animals left. The zombies couldn't find a single living thing to hunt, and Yongdu Village, packed with fresh human prey, drew in every monster for miles. It was a brutal siege and complete annihilation. Their survivors turned one by one into the walking dead. I dropped from my tree. That village was my target from the start. I'm not here to play hero, I just need their map. These ghouls are different, they're fiercely bound to their territory. They retreat by day to sleep in their own nests. If I can locate those lairs, hunting them is 10 times easier. I already know where some nests are, but each one belongs to a completely different village. With the map, I can push my future knowledge to the absolute limit, jumping from town to town to clear them out. I might even score a mutated monster to steal a trait. My pace quickens as the air grows heavy and hot. Then, I hit my first real roadblock, a fast stream, maybe 6 or 7 meters wide, blocking my path. The far bank is a complete inferno, but my side is totally untouched. There's even a crowd chilling by the water like it's a picnic, grilling fish. Everyone turns to look as I arrive. A smiling guy in camo steps over, asking if I'm also headed for the village. There's no point in being rude to a smiling face, and he seems decent enough, so I tell him yes. He grins and says, not to sweat it, we're all after the same goal. Everyone's aiming for the village, but the path is currently blocked by a raging fire. Luckily, this little river acts as a natural shield. He invites me to hang out and wait with the rest of the group until the blaze dies down enough to cross. I get his point. Charging into a forest fire is suicide, and the actual flames are nothing compared to the blinding smoke and toxic gases. Any of those can kill you, instantly. The heat alone is way past human limits. It's hot enough to instantly ignite your clothes. Even high-tier players would end up half dead trying to force their way through. So they sit and wait, but by my calculations, this blaze needs at least 2 or 3 hours to clear. I thank the guy for the warning but tell him I'm in a rush and need to keep moving. The camo guy isn't shocked at all. Plenty of fools tried the same thing and came back half-roasted, and he knows some people only learn their lesson the hard way. He shrugs, walks back to the crowd, and they immediately start whispering among themselves. One calls me a stubborn fool. Another reminds him they were all green once, while a third coughs that the air in there is completely suffocating. Then, they actually start placing bets on exactly how many meters I'll cover before running back in a panic. The bets pour in, mostly guessing 10 or 20 meters. One guy thinks I'll wet my clothes to buy an extra 10. They bet on my clean clothes. They think I'll fold at 23. I hear it all and laugh. But honestly, how could these casuals ever measure me or understand the joy of running a literal cheat code? My nanosuit maintains a perfect temperature and shrugs off fire completely, making the blazing heat an absolute joke to me. The gas mask takes care of the toxic air. My only real threat is a falling branch landing on my head, but I've already solved that. I just open my dimensional space above me to swallow anything that drops. With this combination, the deadly fire they're terrified of is nothing more than a minor annoyance to me. Ignoring their laughter, I walk down to the creek. It's only calf-deep and completely crystal clear. Tiny fish swim past peacefully, and the crowd stares as I prepare to cross, arguing over my next move. Will I wade through to wet my boots, or try stepping on the rocks to stay clean? One of them, a loudmouth in the back, yells out. A guy named Little Huang warns everyone that those stones are incredibly slick, wet, and uneven, making a dry crossing absolutely impossible. He swears on his life he'll eat a rock if I make it across, calling himself a dog if he backs down. I just hate getting wet. They got that part right. Though the water is shallow, I'd rather avoid it, so I jump smoothly from stone to stone. With my massive stats, the slippery surface doesn't affect my balance at all. A few quick bounds carry me clean across like it's solid earth. The bank behind me erupts in shock. He actually did it. Someone rounds on Little Huang, asking if those rocks were really that bad, while another guy laughs and reminds him of his bet. Little Huang's face freezes. It turns several colors. With the entire crowd watching, he finally grits his teeth and accepts his embarrassing defeat, barking like a dog until they finally let him stop. But then, a woman screams for everyone to look because I just walked straight into the raging fire, completely unprotected. Every single head snaps to the far bank. There I am, just strolling through the burning wasteland like I am taking a casual, unhurried walk in my own backyard. Behind me, the crowd goes wild, insisting this is absolutely impossible. There is no way I do not feel the heat, and I am not even out of breath. Someone yells that I must have dumped all my points into Constitution. Another guy argues that only explains the heat, not my perfect breathing. A third genius figures I am holding my breath and walking slow to stretch it out. Then, An old guy with half-white hair sizes me up and mutters it is useless. A little clever trick is not going to get anyone across a literal fire zone. He claims I'm going to suffer real soon. Right then, a woman screams and points up, sending everyone's eyes straight to the massive tree towering above me. A massive, burning branch just snapped loose, dragging down half the other limbs in a chain reaction. A literal avalanche of burning wood crashes down like a fiery dragon. It slams down, swallowing me in a massive cloud of dust, and the crowd goes dead pale. You can see why they would rather wait. The danger is just too real. Death can drop from any direction out here. In my shoes, they would count themselves lucky to survive with just broken bones. One woman asks if they should go pull me out. The replies are instant and brutal. Go in with what? Who is dumb enough to walk in there? It is his own fault for not listening to us. We are all adults here. We face our own consequences. The woman immediately shuts up. She only asked out of reflex, and honestly, if she went bald, saving a stranger, she would literally cry herself to death. Suddenly, someone screams. As the heavy smoke clears, a completely untouched figure is standing right in the middle of the debris. My clothes are spotless. My face, completely calm. I just kick the burning logs aside, walking on like nothing happened. They cannot process it. How did I survive that completely untouched? The guy with the receding hairline says gravely, there is only one real explanation. He must be that top-tier player who scored a C rank in the last zone. The crowd goes silent, staring after me with pure, naked jealousy. Honestly, I did not notice their reactions at all, and I would not have cared if I did. All I did was dump those falling branches straight into my dimensional inventory. As long as it is not a living person, this space is incredibly useful. Before long, I make it through the fire, stepping onto the charred ground where the main blaze already swept through. Only small, scattered embers are left chewing on blackened tree trunks, and a thick layer of ash blankets the ground. My feet sink deep into the hot ash with every step. When I lift my boot, I notice the sole is starting to soften. It is only saved from melting because of its high quality. That shows me just how insanely hot this ground still is. But since the fire just passed, it should cool down in 2 or 3 hours. I extend the nanosuit over my feet to protect the boots. I do not feel the heat, but my gear definitely does. A normal survivor with a 10-point constitution would have their shoes ruined and their feet literally cooked within 100 steps. The air is choked with toxic gas, so I grab a respirator from my space, put it on, and head out over the cleared ground. My pace quickens, my steps feeling lighter. Half an hour later, I spot a village in the distance. A crowd is gathering right at the entrance of Dongdong village. 2 groups are facing off. A sketchy-looking, middle-aged man with sharp, triangular eyes leads a dozen guys dressed in matching camouflage gear. Holding old rifles, they are blocking the entrance to the village, letting absolutely nobody inside. Meanwhile, a ragged group of desperate survivors is gathered just a few meters back. They scream at him that he does not own the village, and blocking them is crossing the line. Charging a toll makes him a common thug. They yell that survivors must stick together, and locking them out will end badly for him. The guy with the triangular eyes does not flinch. As long as he stays logged in, they cannot touch him. But watch, their endless noise finally gets on his nerves. He raises his rifle, fires a loud shot into the sky, and barks at them to shut up. Instantly, the crowd falls silent, absolute terror on their faces. He tells them flat out that he is not playing games. They either hand over one item of value to get in, or get lost and stop being eyesores. He warns them not to complain later, because the moment night falls, this open ground offers zero cover. If something tears them apart out there, it is on them. Suddenly, with a thought, a sharp ice cone forms beside him. It floats in midair, its tip pointed right at the group. This guy has a power. His threat makes everyone see red. But looking at the rifle and the floating shard of ice, nobody dares to step out of line. It is not that they have no spine. It is because of the fresh corpse lying on the dirt nearby. He sneers at their silent rage, calling them a pack of garbage. He is done wasting his breath. Hand over your items and get inside, or get lost and stop blocking his business. He gives a quick nod to a few plants in the crowd, and they immediately move. First up is Brother Donkey, that long-faced arsonist from the fire, looking completely different now. Wearing a timid face, he asks if whatever he finds inside the village is actually his to keep. This triangular-faced guy narrows his eyes. He claims that he, General Gang, is a fair man who only takes the entry fee and nothing else. Anything you scavenge from the village belongs to you if you have the skill. Sure, the place looks run down, but he promises there are weapons and food inside that make dealing with zombies a breeze. Hearing this, the crowd hesitates. Brother Donkey grits his teeth, agrees to pay, and pulls out a white bandage. It is a premium first aid bandage he bought for 10 killing value points, and he asks if this gets him inside. General Gang grins wide, calling him a sensible little brother. He waves him right through the second the bandage changes hands. Just a moment later, Brother Donkey yells from inside, shouting that there is actual glutinous rice in there. Now he has nothing to fear from the dead. This makes the hesitant crowd go wild, because everyone knows what glutinous rice does to zombies. Trading one cheap item for shelter, weapons, and glutinous rice suddenly sounds like a steal. Then, another guy steps up. It is Pockmark, the other arsonist. He steps forward, claiming he is just a rookie with nothing but a rough peachwood spear he whittled himself, asking if it works. General Gang, absolutely thrilled, tells him it is perfect. These two actors are seriously good at their jobs. And honestly, you have to hand it to this guy, he knows exactly how to play people like a fiddle. In this brutal world, you need a clever scheme to get anything. Pockmark disappears inside, and his voice soon rings out. He brags about finding glutinous rice too, claiming he will slay some monsters tonight to boost his rating. That does it. The crowd completely loses their minds, surging forward to shove their items at the guards. The veterans easily find items to trade, while rookies quickly whittle wooden tools or put things up on the trading market. But those with absolutely nothing left to offer, nobody is going to help them. If you will not even make the effort, you do not belong. Meanwhile, General Gang cannot hide his massive grin. He has not even used his third actor yet, and the results are already spectacular. Set the right bait, and the sheep will follow. They had already cleaned out this village once, leaving the glutinous rice behind since nobody could possibly carry all of it anyway. There is plenty of bait, and it is only a 2-day stay anyway. By the time I walk up to the village entrance, I only catch the tail end of this circus. But it is enough to piece everything together. Quite an interesting crew. I never heard of a power user named General Gang in my past life, so he probably died right here. Before long, over half the crowd is inside, leaving the broke ones locked out for having nothing to offer. They only have two options left: flee now to find a hiding spot before nightfall, or stay put and become zombie bait the second darkness hits. I glance at the remaining crowd and head straight for General Gang. I need a map, and I have absolutely no idea if this village actually has one. So, the easiest way is to just ask him. General Gang is happily watching his men count the loot when he suddenly feels someone walking up on him. His head snaps up, rifle raising with it as he tells me to go hand over my gear with the others. He sizes me up the whole time. A hint of caution creeps into his gaze. My clothes are clean, and my posture is completely relaxed. Just look at this absolute confidence staring down a loaded gun without even blinking. I calmly tell him I have no interest in entering. I just want to ask him for something. He narrows his eyes, joking that I had better not be asking for his life. Like some generic movie villain, he feels an unsettling pressure radiating from me that he cannot quite explain. But he is not scared. He is holding a rifle, has armed men backing him up, and possesses a unique power of his own. I shake my head, explaining that I have zero interest in his life. I just need a map of the surrounding area, if he has one. He raises an eyebrow. He actually does not have a map, he never even thought about it, but my request makes him think a map might be highly valuable. Keeping his expression neutral, he asks, so what if I have one? And so what if I do not? And even if he does, what am I willing to offer in return? That is when I drop a bomb, telling him I am trading for their lives, hand over the map, and I let them live. The golden glow in my eyes begins to fade. My eye of insight has already read his entire profile. General Gang is only a 1-star, early-stage combatant. He has a single stealable trait, blue-grade ice manipulation. This confirms it. Monsters are not the only ones with traits. Humans have them too, and they can be stripped just the same. The guy is rocking a blue-grade power, so no wonder he acts so cocky. But since we are fellow countrymen, I will give him a free pass. As long as he makes the smart move, I will spare his life. But he has to actually be smart about it. My offer just makes him laugh in anger. He asks where I get the confidence. Has his gun gone dull? Or did my guts just grow? He cannot read my level. But he already figures I must have a power of my own, because why else would I walk in with this much swagger? In his mind, a guy is either dumb or powerful. Since I am obviously not stupid, I must be completely sure of my strength, or just totally arrogant. He thinks it is a massive world full of all kinds of people, and here is some kid with ice powers, letting it go straight to his head. Still, he is not letting his guard down. Powers are weird, and for all he knows, mine could easily render his guns completely useless. After a quiet 2-second pause, he makes a deal. If I can take a single bullet from him, he will hand over the map. He wants to force my power out. But let's be real, does anyone in this game actually stop at just one shot? If his bullet actually ends up clipping me, he will not show any mercy on the follow-up. After all, A threat is best, crushed early,